and get this bad boy started.
All right.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Mats, guys. Gorgeous, gorgeous looking setup. Gorgeous mats.
All right, looks like we got a mull. Trying to figure out who's who. We just got player 1 and player 2 at the moment. As soon as we see a card, we'll know. Okay. All right. All right. So we got the Cat 6 over on the right, which means we've got the water on the left. Nice. So Benjamin on the right of your screen and Kyle Peters on the left.
That's right. That's right. So he's starting out with a Cyan 2 CP backup pass, which is always really solid here. It looks like we have ourselves some water monster gamers getting ready for that.
Got to get your counters on the Chief, the Sahuagin Chief, early for maximum value. Cyan, yeah, I mean, it's a fine turn 1. You probably want Interceptor, right? You want Interceptor to be that number 1, but Cyan will do in a pinch. Sid going to go search us for something, and in this Cat 6 deck, Gabe, we've got quite a few search targets.
Yeah, we have a couple targets here. We have a couple different things here. I mean, you just have a bunch of lines of different things. It looks like, he can just go.
Oh, okay. We're going to go with the 3 CP lock over the 5 CP lock. The 5 CP lock's the one we've been seeing a lot more of, getting the extra value every time you play a Cat 6 forward onto the field and flipping and taking a Cat 6 character off the top of your deck. This lock, obviously going to go for a little bit of a discard and the threat of discard upon damage. So
it just makes you wonder if you think that maybe in the way Benjamin's hand is layered out, that maybe it curves a little bit into that 3 cost to go into backup and then lock, at least increase that value.
And we already have 2 of the characters for Cat 6 and Lock's Trigger on board, so maybe a better play there. Sildra. We play the Waka, we take the Sildra, and looks like, we're just going to rip that and cast it right off the bat. So let's search ourselves 2 water characters, Cat 5 or water, each of a different value. Let's go ahead and get them. So we already have our 2-drop on board. We already have our 3-drop on board, Gabe. We're still looking for, the big guys, right? Thornton is probably the 5-drop. Larsa is probably the 6-drop. Knowing that you want to get that 1-drop forward Leo online, those are the cards you want to kick out as early as possible.
Yeah, you want to curve out into those types of things. Having the Leo out, definitely being able to get that value. The Thornton allows you to search.
There's the Thornton. We're going to use the Sarah, presumably, to get our 1-drop. Although we could go a different way, too. We could get a 2-drop off of that one.
There's a lot of flexibility when you have a Sarah, just to be able to search with your targets, your Thorntons there. He's setting up for his following turns where he can build into this big kind of melty kind of water value engine that I'm really excited about. So let's see how Benjamin reacts to that.
Yeah, so Ben's in a weird little spot, right? You want to use the lock at some point and try and threaten the hand, but Kyle's water deck keeps replenishing its own stupid cards, right?
For every card you discard, they draw 3.
Right. So it's just a war of attrition when it comes to resources.
Let's see what he does here. So it looks like...
Now, I would assume that Ben is still, by the way, running the 5 CP lock. I just feel like the 3 CP off of early 2 backups is the plan here. I would not be surprised to still see the 5 CP lock. In fact, I have deck lists, so I'm going to go look.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely running a couple 5 CP locks. It makes me wonder if he had it in hand to start with, or potentially has a different layer. It kind of now makes sense that he searches for the lock, because now he paid 2 cards in his hand to play Big Edgar. Now he's discarding to play the 3 CP lock just to get that discard. So he's putting pressure on
Big Turtle goes bye-bye. Celis enters the field. We're going to make discard again. Looked like that's the trigger that Benjamin picked, was the Celis discard. Now that helps, right? Kyle now had 4 in hand. 2 were going to be searchers that we knew of. Thornton was going to search anything. And then Sarah's going to search. Ditches the realm, so we now know that Kyle kept both those 4 and 5-drop backups. By the way, the 3 CP lock is a one-of in this deck, so not surprising. We'll see the 5-drop CP, the 5 CP lock later.
I think one thing that is kind of important, and maybe Benjamin's recognizing, with water, it wants to build, and it wants to kind of grind you into this mid to late game kind of like value control engine just to melt all your board. So maybe Benjamin's recognizing that I need to apply early pressure on the board because if I do this, they don't have time to set up. If you're just at 7 points of damage, you have no way to set up because you're dead. So
yeah, that's the thing, right? The deck not only doesn't want 1-drop Leo to pay off and start just getting you free plays off the top of your deck of huge water bomb cards like Leviathan, but it's also got that backup plan of playing Lena and dropping huge bombs from the break zone and things like that later. But it relies on, I gotta get there. I gotta set up. I gotta have the break zone loaded. I've gotta have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops on the field so that I can trigger Leo. And yeah, I think the best strategy here, and you're right, Benjamin has tagged it, has recognized the matchup and just said, all right, here's 3 forwards. Start playing forwards,
what are you going to do?
I'm going to start doing damage.
Exactly. I think when you put this much pressure this early to the game, your opponent is now has to build as fast as you are. And sometimes when you're building pace by drawing cards, creating value, which I think he's doing with his monster here, just to be able to kind of keep up in that value. We'll see if he'll be able to actually kind of hold on. But I think recognizing and letting Sause attack is huge.
This is going to be a rough one right now, right? Because Kyle's down to 1 in hand. Locke presumably is going to take that away unless you use the Chief and start bouncing things in some ways, which may exactly be what Kyle's thinking here, trying to retain that hand size because you just aren't at the critical mass yet to be able to start executing the big water bombs. You do have, though, a ton of cards in the break zone already.
Yeah.
So there is that threat later of Lena probably doing some goofy stuff if you need it in a pinch.
Exactly. And I think
it's going to be
able to keep up with your bodies, when you have 3 guys on the board.
Okay. There it is. So there's the party attack off of triggering Celis's ability now with a party attack to dull freeze. Locke dealing damage, gets the Thornton out of hand. So now all of a sudden Kyle in a little bit of a rough spot, right?
Yeah.
Isn't going to have 2 backup resources next turn on an empty hand and has already taken 2 damage. Now Chief is online, so that can be used as a bailout at some point. But that's really what you want to use to start bouncing your stuff, so that you can re-trigger Leo and other things.
That's for sure. And I think one of the things he recognized, the early discards are actually becoming more and more prevalent because not only has he been able to discard.
Just a draw 2 pass, the old nap. Oh no. Oh no.
That's not good. That's not good, folks. I think what he did is he recognized that making those early discards and being able to hit in for extra damage was real important. Now let's see how he follows up here. Oh, here's the Leo.
Now summons are offline.
This is not looking. This is just looking rough.
Yeah, there's the Category 6 party attack. Again, Celis's trigger. Anytime a Cat 6 is involved in a party, you get one of 2 options. Ben obviously electing to freeze 2 characters. Edgar putting on 4 damage. And then General Leo just sitting there for now, but an active participant in this game by shutting off summons from Kyle Peters. It's not exactly a summon-heavy deck on Kyle's side. But
I think one thing to recognize is that he's really constricting not only the mana that he's able, he's saying that a lot of the back turns that Water likes to do is setting up backups, locking backups down, keeping their hand size to a control, and just limiting another resource. It can be exhausting. It's kind of crazy how Kyle Peters is still kind of calculating, doing the math, doing some numbers games here. And just trying to figure out how to push himself out of this hyper aggression that 6 is doing.
Yeah, this is keeping Kyle off of so many things, right? And General Leo, again, Kyle's water deck not summon heavy, but Sildra very important to the deck as far as going and getting those exact costed cards that you need to then turn Leo on a little later. Keeping those 2 backups dull frozen, taking a card or 2 out of the hand every single time, every single turn, is keeping Kyle off of 4 CP, right? And now General Leo just totally shutting off the summons. Now you don't even have to really keep Kyle off the CP you're just keeping him off summons. I would imagine we have to use Sahagin Chief here at this point, being at 4 damage.
We have to use Sahagin Chief here just because we need those extra resources at some point. We need to stop the bleeding, right?
Yeah.
We have to get that.
So bouncing the lockback and the Leo, trying to free up the ability to cast summons again, and getting rid of that discard threat. However, I mean, it does give Ben the chance to just replay it again, right? And get one, at least get one discard off on this turn. But it also stops the Cat 6 party attack since Celis and Edgar aren't matching elements.
And I also think, and this is another big kind of thing here, when he now has those backups online, right?
Yeah.
He can now go ahead and use those to kind of build his board. Now, the other thing is
you're at 6 though. Like you still only have so much time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Kyle is at 6 damage, so he's definitely trying to at least make it so that he can, make some.
There it is. So just General Leo lock hits the field. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the 2 cards that he draws there, but it's not looking super great. But let's see what he can do now with all his resources being able to at least be unlocked. Let's see what he's got.
It's always a different game when you have all your backups.
When you can play cards, I've heard it's pretty good.
I heard when you have some CP, things can happen.
If you have some
I've been told by some high-level players that having CP is good.
Having some CP, that's the game for me.
All right, so we're going to dull 1.
He's going to tap the Rosa here.
Looks like we did. Oh, pay him 5. There's the Thornton. All right, so we're going to go search something, literally anything.
Anything.
Yeah, go get a card. The only limitation is it must be in your own deck.
I think that was one of the things that Benjamin really...
Here comes the Lena, which I would imagine we're going to use as a response at our earliest convenience.
Lena, please.
Kyle's going to start counting water cards and setting 12 aside. Here we go. All right, so there's the 9-drop Leviathan, which is the play right here, right? Mm-hmm. So for those that don't know, when that 9-drop Leviathan comes into the field, which it's going to get to for free, basically, off of Lena's ability here to exile 12 water cards, or 12 cards, and play a forward there from the break zone. This 9-drop Leviathan is going to come in and give Kyle the option to bounce back to Ben's hand, up to 1 forward, up to 1 monster, and up to 1 backup. And if you do so, every time a character is bounced while Leviathan is on the board, you get to reduce a forward's power by 9k. So this is going to be I'm going to get a forward off the field, I'm going to get a backup off the field, and then I'm going to reduce the power of 2 of your forwards by 9k, thus sending them to the break zone. This is as close to a board clear as Kyle can get right now.
Yeah. And I think it also builds a lot of tempo, right? You're putting 2 bodies on the board, moving 2 things off the board, which essentially will melt one of the forwards off. So you're kind of creating this back tempo kind of thing. Now, if you were Kyle, what target would you choose here? I think getting the Edgar off the board is super important, just so there isn't any extra action.
Well, you see, and I think this is exactly what Kyle did. My take on it would be, if I want to get Leo online in this game, I still need other cards, so I still need my summons turned on. So General Leo's got to go. And then I think the thought here was just taking Ben off of fire backups, right? Bounce the Cyan. Bounce the Cyan, bounce the Leo, take the other 2, and leave Celis on the board with 2 ice backups. I don't know if those are the targets I would have chosen, but at least I can see the play line here that Kyle is taking. I agree with the 2 bounces. I don't know if I would have left Celis on the field, although maybe he's like, hey, I still have a turn to deal with her. She's not going to be a party attack threat.
And there's no interceptor on the board, so there's no way he can get this value. Now, the Cyan coming back does give her Brave, but I think at this point, Kyle is at the I need to chump block, or I need to, oh man, that's the Sabin. Oh, geez.
Oh, double Sabin special, 8k, 8k. Celis forces the block. Yeah, that's rough.
That's
so I don't see a way this isn't GG at that point. Yeah, there it is. Thancred and looks like another Sahagin Chief or something in the hand there.
Yeah. That was real rough.
Ben played it fast, gang. So that was a 4-drop Sabin with a little bit of a discount in it for costing purposes because of the board, the Cat 6 board. But then a double pop of the special for 8k damage to a forward and 8k damage to a forward, getting Leviathan off the field. Celis at 7k, swinging in. Lena, by the way, Cyan was played, so what is her name? Celis is pumped. So Lena has to block at 6 damage, dies, and then, yeah, you're at the mercy of your top deck at that point, which was Thancred and something else, with no Princess Sarah on board to get you the lightning. So, yeah, not a great position. Well played, well played.
It's interesting, too, because we always look at the 5 CP lock as a means of gaining that value. What Ben recognized is, like, I need to create pressure. I need to create a lot of, tempo for damage. And he was able to recognize it. I just put a lot of bodies on the board and getting Celis to party attack and just locking down not only your hand size, but your board presence. He recognized that, like, hey, this fun one-of is actually an attack. And it's so, we were just talking about this earlier in the chat. You see these random one-ofs that you don't see in a long time, a little spicy. Now you're like, Locke. I remember Locke. Like,
yeah.
Big old, he's locking down the board, and Celeste is locking down the rest of the field. Like, I think that was ha-ta-ta. That's right.
There was a lot of locking going on.
You gotta pop it, then lock it. That's what we did. We popped it and then locked it.
Now, honestly, like that was a very one-sided matchup. A good recognition, taking advantage of the cards in hand, and just going for the strategy. A little bit of luck, right? You got to get the Edgar when you got it. You got a little bit of luck. That's what the deck is built to do.
Like, Edgar is pretty nuts, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And having 3 Sabin there at the end, 1 to play and then 2 to double pop the special. Man, the magic of card games sometimes, right? You're just like, okay, I'm pretty safe. Even if he plays Sabin, my Leviathan's 9k. Even if he specials it, could he Edgar into another Sabin? Yeah, but then he's going to have 1 card in hand, or maybe 2 if he does this. Like, the odds are pretty okay that my Leviathan's going to hold back this field for a turn and let me draw at least once or twice. Oh, I just got Sabin twice. GG.
Yeah, exactly. A little zapperoo, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing with how this game works. Like, you can see like a deck that's able to just search whatever it wants, right? With Thornton being able, Sildra essentially searches for whatever you want. And sometimes all you need is that fast aggression and just to kill their board, which was essentially what happened. Even the very late game, it was just, you could see that tempo come back. And you know what's one thing I didn't recognize? I'm looking at the list. I would have expected Water there would have been more EX burst. I think that was probably another very unfortunate thing that happened in that game. He took a lot of damage early. If he would have saw Thornton early game, I think it would have been more back and forth because he would just be able to tutor whatever.
Well, that was the thing, though. He grabbed the Thornton and the Princess Sarah off of the Sildra. So it's not that he didn't have it. It's not that Kyle wasn't going to be able to play it, but the threat was Locke, right? Locke and Celis on that next turn. Celis on entry made a discard. Locke on damage made a discard. All of a sudden, you go from 4 cards to 2 cards. We know that Kyle kept the Sarah and the Thornton, right? That's the play out. I got to go and get these things. Then you started the war of attrition on the damn resources. And now I can't play 4-cost things. I can't play 5-cost things. I can't even cast Sildren now, the General Leo.
That was
it's
one
just
thing
absolute resource attrition war. Yeah.
Because with Sildra being able to recognize, oh, I'm going to search for a 5-cost and another cost. And he said, okay, I'm just going to make it so if you play Thornton, that's the only thing you're doing. And then I'm going to swing in for 3 more damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't a great game there for Kyle, unfortunately. And it was just a Ben recognizing the matchup. And I'll tell you, Gabe, it's the same thing. Like, I'm watching going, okay, if I'm running Earth Ice and I'm sitting across this deck and this deck, what am I doing? And I'll tell you what, as soon as I see those water backups start flowing, immediately I'm like, where's Scale Toad? Where is Scale Toad? Let's go find Scale Toad. You know what? I'll even overpay for it if I can't lark it out onto the field, because just that war of attrition for resources, that shortening of the game, that getting the forwards out. Okay, I know you need to set up at least 6 cards for your big Leo payoffs. And I know you need a lot of cards in your break zone for Lena payoffs. That's kind of key. Obviously, the deck can do other things and sneak in there through bounces and things like that. But if I can get out 2 or 3 forwards and start putting pressure with Scale Toad and things like that against the Cat 6 deck, it's the same thing, right? I'm looking at it again from my Earth Ice current meta playing matchup. I'm looking at it like, okay, let me get Iridia out, and I'm going to hold a Mist Dragon in my hand. And I don't care if you know I have it.
What are you going to do about it? I guess you got to play something for me to cancel it and almost time walk you.
Yeah, go ahead, play that Edgar. I'm not going to let you get value.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to let you get value.
I will allow it.
Yeah, and those are the things that Ben clearly saw there, and we know Kyle's a fantastic player.
Oh yeah,
right? An absolute fantastic player. You have bad matchups sometimes, and that's what
become very strong. And not only that, the top 32 cut, he can afford 1 or 2 losses. You know what I mean? Like, and he's such
but you do want those losses to be later, right? You do. In Florida, I lost to the legend Ryan Chen in round 2, and I would give anything for that loss to have happened in round 3, right?
That's
like
fair.
There is timing to some of this too, where you don't want to take the early losses if you can avoid it. It doesn't mean Kyle's out. Kyle's a fantastic player, and at the end of the day, Kyle could be 6-1, right? And that is absolutely possible. But you don't want to take those early losses if you can avoid it. Yeah,
you try not to take I guess you're right. You try not to take your losses too early. But I mean, it's still early in the day. There's 7 rounds. And I think with such a high playing field, we're definitely going to see Kyle just punch back with that. Like sometimes, I bet what happened was it was recognition of the matchup that he had to go fast. He had to keep running in, punching in. And, next time, I bet he'll probably be able to build up, and we'll definitely see him soon. He is not out by any means.
No. We're switching them as we speak. Don't worry about it.
Actually, all the opponents today are Kyle Peters and Benjamin Parrott.
Yeah, every single round. We're just going to follow those 2.
People of those 2 names.
We're just going to follow those 2 all day. Oh, Mike Byrne, that's a pleasant surprise. Oh, thank you. Mwah. Much love.
I love Steve. He always has the best shirts, and he has the Super Mario pajamas rocking.
Right.
Pretty excited about that. I'm really excited to see, it's going to be interesting if it looks like Walters has a 1 of Alfano. So I'm wondering if that'll actually play into effect, but that's what I'd love to see. Some juicy.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as a lightning rod, great. I don't like it in this matchup, right? Being a 7 cost in a matchup where Steve's going to want to go very aggressive, ditching a Squall for Zaz right off the bat. See if we trigger Zaz's ability for a discard and a draw or not. Depends on if Steve's digging for some of those key searchers, some of those key cards that are going to enable turn 2 and turn 3 shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested to watch Daniel Walters with the kind of Army of 1 build. This is a deck that I feel like has been a little underrepresented lately, but can do some serious damage. Looks like we don't opt to trigger Zaz, but we do play Sid of Clan Gully and just take our lightning card back. So off to Daniel now.
Yeah. Now, I feel like Daniel now recognizing what this matchup is, that's
100%. You saw Zaz and you saw that Bahamut.
You know what's happening right now.
Daniel knows what's up now.
You know what's in the oven. And
you also saw the lightning card that Sid took back.
Yeah.
You know what you're playing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And these are like my favorite turns, by the way, of any TCG, is like the analysis turns, right?
Yeah.
What is my opponent on? What are the cards that are typically run in that deck that can hurt me? What does my win con become now that I know what my opponent is playing? This, not a great opening, overpaying for the Geomancer. I mean, at least you get the backup down, but you gave up a Sildra for it. Obviously, we're going to probably grab that back very quickly, probably off of an Echidna monster play or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely want to build that, but we got to hope right now. Okay, so here.
So Fang, and it looked like Steve declared we're going to make something cheaper, ditching the Y'shtola. Now we've got Hope, so we're going to go grab, and Avengers Assemble, right? I mean,
Avengers are assembling right now.
There it is, the 2-drop lightning, the bane of many players' existence now.
It's time to go fast, sir. It's ready. It's ready to already start running in. I mean, this lightning is so.
Oh my God! I was saying Zaz. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's Dodge. That's
Dodge, Sage and Dodge. That's right.
Yeah, my bad.
But yeah, man, seeing the lightning come out into play. I mean, Steve's setup is already like super optimal right now. He has all the keys to the Lamborghini here. He's ready to drive.
Yeah, I mean, you're already set right now, right, to play the lightning next turn and swing 3 times, provided nothing about the board state changes. Oh, we did get the Sid Rain, so the board state is changing.
It is going to change a little.
Yep. You still can get the lightning down, but you know what do you have to get this big Sid out of your face while you do it?
Sid is a wall, and now the new workman's role for Steve is, how do I move this wall out of the way?
Yeah. I got to say, this probably isn't the opening Daniel wanted to see. It probably just is not the way you wanted to see it.
I will say though that he is reacting. I think he recognizes what this matchup is.
Oh, no doubt.
But it looks like Steve is ready to start revving his engine.
Okay, so we swing first with the Knoll. So we've got buffs going across the board. So now it doesn't matter that Sid is as big as he is. It puts Daniel in a tough bind here. Blocking isn't great, but you don't feel like you don't want to block, because now we're going to do a 2nd point of damage and draw. And then Fang buffed right now, but I can see the argument that Steve may decide not to swing, but the swing, there it is, puts you on 4 if you don't block this. Everybody's buffed to the hilt now, so Sid's Sid's being a big boy doesn't matter at this point.
It is arm and shoulders day.
Yeah, it is. Sid's skipping leg day, baby.
No leg day. Leg day is no day, you know?
And Lightning and friends noticed. They said, hey, you've been skipping leg day. We're just going to go ahead and buff each other into oblivion.
That's
We're
right.
also going to draw cards, and we're going to deal extra damage.
No wimps allowed. That's right.
Daniel in a rough spot here now. And here comes Vanille off of Fang, making Vanille cheaper. So we've got yet another Cat 13 forward and a search. The brakes are off at this point. Steve is just going straight for the throat, taking advantage of a Geomancer turn 1, a Sid turn 2, less than ideal. It's almost what? It's got to take a board clear here, Gabe. But unfortunately, you're in lightning water.
I was hoping to see that maybe there would have been like a burst that would have been helpful to stop some of the onslaught right now. But Steve is just power to the metal right now. He's taken 3 damage on turn 2. Like it's
4 because of the extra point on Lightning's ability for a 3rd swing. So Daniel's at 4 already. Chris Adams, is this round 2 or an episode of Law and Order SUV?
Who needs music in the intermission when we just have our mouths just making noise?
Yeah, if Daniel has the Ixion, I believe it would have been windmill slammed already.
Yeah.
So I've got to believe that Daniel doesn't have it and is just kind of looking at, can I possibly dig out and get one more turn? It's not winning or losing now. It's, can I get to my next draw?
Yeah.
Is there enough here?
Can I get to the next turn? Can I at least slow this car down? You know what I mean? And he's been driving around. He's about to hit the finish line here.
All right. Okay. So here's where we can get a little wacky. I mean, the break zone isn't ideal for the Army of One deck right now, but we've got the 5-drop lightning. Don't take advantage of haste because you can't, right? You can't.
Yeah, we're not swinging. We're
yeah, you can't swing.
One of my favorite movies. Yolanda's got to be cool here. Yolanda's got to be cool.
It does make you wonder, what did Daniel keep in his hand, right? Because he's going to have to block here. He's going to have to block at some point. And that 5-drop lightning forward, when it dies and goes to the break zone, he's going to get a play. What is it? So Steve baiting this out before we even get to combat with the Mohammad and the Noel Doll. And okay, so we get a Hope on board. Oh, the Mohammad RFG'd it. That's right. So he doesn't even get a play. Lightning didn't hit the break zone. GG? I mean,
this is rough. It's very hard. I mean, a lot of times with this Cat 13 deck, I mean, sometimes you have the hand that's able to react to it, and sometimes you don't know what your opponent's playing. You keep the hand, and then they just go super fast, and you're just
Sid should not be dull. I don't think this is gonna matter, but Sid should, because of the extra damage on the third swing. But Sid should not technically be dull. Lightning did not go to the break zone, and that is Noel's trigger. Or wait, is Noel leaves the field? I got to look up Noel. I can't remember if Noel is break zone or leaves the field. Noel is leaves the field.
Oh, leaves. Okay. Clean playing here. And I know Steve's he's been playing forever, so I think, it's...
Yeah, Noel is just when it leaves the field. So the dull is valid.
Oh, man, that was a good game. Those games are always real rough, too, because sometimes... it's just you don't know what you're. Oh, see, we were just talking about this before the game. That Felthanos, the one of Felthanos, like in that game, it was probably not very helpful.
Yeah, you weren't gonna see it.
Yeah, you weren't.
It wasn't gonna see the field at that point, unless you get the board clear, right? Which is what you're looking for. You're looking for the Ixion there. As soon as you see Cat 13. In the ice or in the water lightning deck matchup, you're looking for your Ixion, right? Just give me the 2 CP, break everything. And that's one of the things, like, you may hate this deck. And I know a lot of people do, and I'm not exactly a fan of it. I will say it is great to teach new players with.
Oh, yeah.
Because it does teach a lot of stack interaction. There's a lot of things going on. I thought, like, the Avalanche deck, the starter deck, did the same thing. Great new player deck that started teaching stack interaction and party attacking, which up until that point, right, party attacking was generally used for, can I get I need to do it to get over something big.
I need to get over, yeah, right. That's a big thing. I remember during the days when we were right before COVID hit, like, sometimes you had the rain party attack where you could just kill 2 things at once or, do something like that. But I think decks like this are not only very good for teaching new players how to play, but it's also... It's one of those kind of decks in these kind of 7-round tournaments. You know what you're doing, right? You have kind of a linear line to move. These days can get exhausting. I have a coffee on the side here because, you just need that caffeine. When you're in 7 grinding rounds of games, you need something that is tried and true and gets the job done. And, sometimes that's what happens. Like, sometimes you play a game and you just are able to just autopilot a win. And I will say this, playing Steve in so many different tournaments, like, he knows this game. Yeah. He's done so well in so many tournaments. I would love to see him get his ticket stamp for Nats. Like, I love that kid so much.
Yeah, and the thing is, the 13 deck has changed the meta in not only kind of keeping Wind at bay, right? Because Wind was going into Opus 19 here, the From Nightmare set. Wind was just, this is oppressive. This is absolutely oppressive. And 13 has kind of just put that at bay. Not eliminated it entirely, nor should it, but it has kind of tempered the Wind availability. We still have probably like 55 minutes left in round, just because that round went so fast.
We have a small amount of time.
That round went so fast.
Yeah,
but it has also changed the way you play other decks too. I'll give you an example. Right, when I'm sitting down, I have to automatically assume that my opponent can probably be running the 13 deck. Like, I just have to. I have to respect that. Having no knowledge.
I haven't done. It's in the room.
Yeah, I haven't done any scouting. I haven't seen my opponent. I don't know in advance. Like, I don't know. I gotta watch their turn 1. What I call those analysis turns, right? Where you kind of start pegging, what is my opponent on? What are the cards that can hurt me? What are my answers to those cards? What cards in my deck can hurt my opponent? What can their possible answers be? Those analysis turns are so key to winning a match in any TCG, but also obviously Final Fantasy here.
And I also think
you have to go into those turns assuming almost at this point that they're on 13. And so you're automatically kind of in the mulligan process, even going, if I'm against 13, how fast can I get into a board clear? How fast can I get into a Shantoto? How fast can I get into a Hecatonchire? How fast can I get into an Ixion? So just the way the deck works, and Null is absolutely gross, by the way.
Null, disgusting.
Null is absolutely gross. Like, you put out a big body trying to keep that deck at bay, and then all it takes is any of your small bodies dying, and your big body doesn't matter. Like that. Ugh, it's so gross. But it's changed the way
you have to respect.
Even.
You have to respect that the deck exists. Like, even the way you mulligan, even the way you go ahead, you have to respect that this deck's on the board. And even though it's not my style of deck, because I think I'm a huge value player, I think that there has to be a different shoe type for every person. And being able to just go aggressive, to go fast. Like, I remember back in the day when we played in West Virginia, when Wolf was like, it wasn't my play style, but I played the deck, and it definitely allowed a bunch of new players to get in. Really easy, fast mechanic. But there's a
Soiree did the same thing, right? Soiree did the same thing for new players. That was a great teaching deck for new players, and you were quote unquote competitive right off the bat as a new player, and you got to do cool things. Oh, I'm going to do this, and then that breaks something, then it gets haste, and I could do that feels good. That's good card design for getting new players in. And then seeing those same decks on the competitive level with 8, 10, 12, 15 card changes, and it becomes an entirely different beast. Now, I will say the 13, a chat already correctly pointing out, dies to a slight breeze.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. Like, in a deck that is in Earth, you're like, okay, can I get Hecaton and can I get Shantoto? And I'm just going to hold on to them. Okay, cool. In something running ice, it's okay. You can keep all these on board. That's fine. I'm just going to pin them down the entire time.
I feel like is somewhat in a way balanced, because sometimes you just have to, like, there are some games where you just play and you just accept these cards that just come out and you just lose on the spot. And you're like, okay, I'm going to scoop it up and I'm going to go to the next game. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes there's these cards. It not only affects the way you build your decks to play around it, it's also the way you decide whether you want to keep hands knowing that this deck exists. And a lot of these top levels, you have a lot of people that are walking around the room noticing what people are doing, we always...
you got to do your scouting. You got to do your scouting.
We're in the NFL here. We got to find the best players we can. And when we find one, we got to take some notes. So if this person is there and you're taking some notes down and you're ready to, put them against every other person in there, it's so important that people have to recognize. Where if you're playing a different kind of deck where you're looking at people just like Daniel Walter's deck, you're not going to expect those Thanos, you're not going to expect those fun of one-ups, you know what I mean? But with that, you have to understand and kind of register that this is a deck that's real. It can kill you really fast, and and it's great for players that are coming in new to the game with the first competitive season in almost a year. Like, you have to respect it.
And I like to feel Thanos in there, right? Because you're playing the room and you're expecting to see Earth Ice, you're expecting to see Ice Lightning, you're expecting to see Wind Ice, all of those things that want to target. And not only running Charlotte or something like that is great because it forces the target, but the effect still goes off. So I do like Feel Thanos in there, but as soon as we saw the deck list, we were like, yeah, that's a dead card.
Yeah, that is a dead card.
unless you get your Ixion and you time your board clear right, and this goes to like turn 6 or 7, that card, like, please don't draw it.
Please. You're just praying off the deck. You're like, any other card it could be. Like, it's gotta not be. You gotta do the Yukimoto, the draw the card, you see the Thanos, and all right, I'm gonna go home.
Let me ask you this though. Like, again, let's go back to what we've been talking about in between rounds here. What would you run? I send you in tomorrow. Are you okay with running something that's kind of like, to me, the 13 deck is very all or nothing, right? I either kill you by turn 3, turn 4, sometimes turn 2, but I either kill you by turn 3, turn 4,
you got a little zest here,
like we just saw here, or I lose. Is that something that you personally would take into a tournament?
So here's the thing, and this is knowing me as a player as well as knowing kind of the room. For me, I like to watch. I'm such a beer and pretzels kind of player. You know, I enjoy like kind of interactions. I enjoy like I'm like a Sudoku puzzle a little bit. I like to write the numbers. I like to look. I like to think. I'm like, oh, let's erase that. Like, I love that. When I have to go fast and just drum, I don't know. I don't know. Like, you know, my brakes are always on. My footer is resting on the brake pedal. So I'm just not an aggro player. That is not something that I would do. But I think that for some people, when they know how to accelerate and they know, it's probably a great choice. For me, I wouldn't play it. I love Ice Lightning. I think that deck's great. I'm a mono water player. I enjoy it, but I have to also understand, and like we were talking about before, that you have to recognize that sometimes you're just dead. You know what I mean? You just
well,
can't.
I mean, in Steve's particular build, he was running the Ahmad, so he obviously can cancel, you know, something like a Shantoto if it happens. But then that's also very reliant on, I got to have board state to make them want a Shantoto, and then I have to have the Ahmad. Like,
and that's the thing, like, when you have the Ahmad to cancel it, that might be your turn, but it might put the cat deck behind like a turn or two because you
got to hold it.
Board presence.
Yeah, and you got to hold it, and you got to hold the CP there too. Obviously, the card draw, if you can start swinging those 13s, certainly helps in that respect as well. Chat, we're going to take a little break here. Again, we have about 10 minutes left in round 2 here. We're going to be back for round 3, Collector's Cash Materia Cup from Final Fantasy trading card game.
Thanks for everybody watching and joining with us. Thanks for joining with us. Me and Mike just chatting. Like, thanks for everybody watching, getting us all hyped for competitive Steam. We'll be back in a few minutes.
We're going to throw in a free extra point of damage call now.
For fun.
Like, it just... The value is
it's like getting that little add-on. I'll sell you my detergent for free if you go right now in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm really interested in this matchup. There are answers in the Rydia Turbo Summons deck to this deck. So let's see. Let's head to the table and see if the deck can survive the initial aggressive onslaught of 13. So we're shuffling up now.
Shuffling up. Now, one thing I will notice is that G's deck runs 3 Amas, which is pretty important, I feel like, to the matchup a little bit. Just being able to say no and to slow down the onslaught. But let's take a look here.
All right, so we ditched 2. We're going to go search a cat 13 forward off of the Lumina backup. Yes, it is another 13.
It is another 13.
So depending on what Patrick has in hand, there's a couple different targets here. If you have your enablers or your Vanille searchers or your hopes, you're probably going to go grab the Light Lightning. In this case, looks like Patrick didn't, so we're going to go ahead and grab Hope and start our search engine at the top of Hope.
Now, I will say that the 13 deck compared to the last time, it's a little bit slower of a start than the last one. It seemed to at least tutor a lot of its targets. But it you know, playing one backup kind of on a 4. Let's see if they can keep up in the same kind of tempo that Steve was doing. So it looks like he passed the. Oh my God!
Oh, nice.
That's
an opening.
Yeah, well,
that's an opening. The real ninja in chat. Good eyes. Yes, that was an Opus 2 Yang that Thao put in hand there. Neo Exdeath gonna really put on pressure. In this particular build. Now, again, Patrick does have the ability to splash characters, and if you Bahamut this thing, you know, GG. Yeah. You have put, you know, Thao's put so much value into this that if it gets blown away off the board very quickly, you're in trouble. So let's see if Patrick has an immediate answer to it. But Patrick does have the ability to splash the board with so many characters so fast that you can kind of negate the effect, or at least mitigate it a little bit.
You can go wide, right? You can essentially say, okay, you have this one Neo X deck. It's going to be rough, but like, I'm just going to swing in, and if you want to kill one of my guys, I have 3 others coming at you, and I'll take, you know what I mean? I'll pump my guys as I go through.
Now, Patrick didn't have the Bahamut. I mean, it would have just been a blowout, I think, at that point.
Yeah, it would have been a blowout, absolutely.
So Patrick is going to lose a character here at the end of turn. Patrick will get to choose it off of Neo Exdeath's ability. And then targeting Neo Exdeath also results in the same effect for some of you newer players out there.
For sure.
There's the Bahamut.
No.
There it is.
Yikes.
Oh, it looks like we've got a response. We're gonna. Oh no! Oh! So the Titan comes down, buffs Neo Exdeath's power. Therefore, the Bahamut doesn't get the kill. Patrick doesn't get the kill with the Bahamut, and now we're looking at a sack on Patrick's behalf. And look, you know, we're only 2 turns into the game. No backups. 1 forward to 1 forward, and Thao with 3 cards. Unreal.
Shirt right now. I gotta loosen the button. That was.
I think I gotta take my shirt off. Holy hell!
The tie's gotta go. Everything's got to go. Oh man, that is a very.
I mean, the Bahamut was the answer. I can't fault Patrick. That is the absolute answer. And you're looking at Thao having 2 cards in hand. You're like, what could they possibly do that is going to allow this to not be my game? And now Neo Exdeath all of a sudden may carry the game.
Out, you know, they were trying to get him off on a vacation, but I think he wants to spend time with the family. So I think the family is going to be hanging out there.
Patrick top decks that lightning. And runs it out and just tries to swing for a little bit of value, gets 2 damage. I mean, you might unfortunately, you might be looking at, all right, I got to get some damage in for tiebreakers at this point because Ned just sacks Hope. Now Patrick's got 2 damage, 1 card in hand, and lightning.
Brutal. I felt that from here. Like, you know, you got to know when you slam a Neo Exdeath, that is your way to victory. If this dies, then I'm in trouble. But him to have a reaction to him killing it, and that's what I love about the Turbo Radiant deck. It just has so many different varieties of answers, right?
Yeah. Chat going nuts over the Titan play, and rightfully so. Like I said, I should probably take my
shirt off. I feel like one of those RVA memes. I'm just sweat. Yeah, I agree with Titans here. I would want to keep my Neo X deck safe and not run into a burst, something that could kill it, because that card will literally control the game.
Well, but it does it whether it's active or dull anyway.
Well,
and Neo Exdeath isn't.
I would feel like that would be like backbreaking.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You have to expect, like, Noel feels terrible targeting Neo Exdeath, right? And if you're Thao, you don't intend to block with Neo Exdeath until the last moment that you have to anyway. So maybe get those few early points in so that you're not trying to rush from 0 to 7. You're rushing from 2 or 3 to 7 by the time you have to leave Neo Exdeath. But there is the argument on the other side that if you give Patrick multiple swings, you're also letting Patrick draw resources. So I can understand the let's leave Neo up and threaten the block, because what's lightning at 8K gonna do to a 10K? There's a light lightning in the damage zone. So the light lightning on board just became even more important.
So one thing you mentioned earlier was about the idea of going wide and going around.
Yeah.
Now, I think another reason why...
I actually don't agree with this attack. I was okay with the previous one. I don't like continuing to swing.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it either, only because Patrick's deck is the type of deck that will, you know, like essentially you have this big dumb Neo X deck hitting in for 1, and the Cat 13 deck will be like, okay, I'll just hit you for 4 damage on the backswing. You know what I mean? Like, I would definitely be careful about it, unless he has some type of reactionatory kind of thing. Let's see how he follows up.
All right, we're going to Hecaton the board. I mean, that kind of feels bad, right? 5 CP to get rid of a 2-drop, but you also have another one of those lightnings in damage, which is never coming into the game again.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So the Hecaton, I believe, can only be done on his turn.
Right.
So that's one thing I would mention.
I'm a little confused on the continued swing with Neo. While I argued for the initial swing, I don't like this continued swing.
I don't like it either. I think a little poke is good, but I because it also makes your opponent want to put more characters on the board to get eaten by Ned.
So there was a Fenrir in hand. I feel like that would have been a better play
to
get rid of the 2-drop lightning than the Hecaton.
I agree. But I mean, we're up here in the booth, so maybe I feel like it's probably harder to see on that end now. I'm looking at the hand sizes. It looks like both. It looks like, what is it? Patrick has 4 cards in hand right now. It looks like he has a Stola backup. So,
Yeah, it looks like an Aldo, looks like a Y'shtola. Y'shtola is going to be dangerous.
Stole's going to be very dangerous here.
But with Ned by itself on the board, that feels terrible, right?
Feels horrible,
because Y'shtola is going to target into death. So I feel like maybe the Fenrir should have been the play previously.
Maybe, yeah.
The 3-drop Fenrir there to get rid of the light lightning. Patrick having 6 cards in hand. I mean, and at 4 and Thao being at 4 damage. That's rough.
That's scary, yeah. Especially because you're
terrifying.
Efficient, like hasty boys that are coming in for damage. He could come in.
Okay. So we're gonna Seymour break Ned, and then Ned's effect goes on, and Seymour has to basically nuke himself. So a 4-drop Odin that got rid of Ned.
I like that. Seymour taking a place of a little Odin there. Now let's see how you're at. Now I will say Patrick has 3 cards in hand. It looks like currently, and Geo has.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're not great cards to kind of push here. I mean, the Ursula grab back the Yang.
Ursula, that's scary. I think that makes it a very. It's going to be hard to come back from that because you just have so many big blockers that can also just shoot random forwards that can kill Patrick's 13 guys. So this is a rough day at the office, I would say. A rough day at the office.
Yeah, it's rough. This is one of those situations where you're looking at the board state and you're like, okay, Thao has 2 backups, 2 forwards, and both players are on 4 damage. And it's real easy as maybe a newer player to go, yeah, he's got board state. Ned did tremendous work. Neo Exdeath did tremendous work.
Yeah.
But Patrick was able to just keep building up the hand. And that's a little more important. Yeah, Patrick only has 1 2-drop lightning in deck. And so you've got to search that out, or you've got to top deck it. Y'shtola is now a super dangerous card because Neo Exdeath isn't on the field. The haste and the value here, I don't know if I put Thao ahead on board state. I think I actually say Patrick is slightly ahead pending a draw. Pending a draw.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so here comes the Yish. We're going to take the damage.
Ooh, what did he get?
That other 2-drop lightning. Okay, so you're done with your Cat 13 draw and free damage. You are done on that front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now both players are at 5. Oh, and a Leviathan expert.
Oh my god.
Just swinging back and forth in this game.
Oh, this game is nuts.
All right, so now there's some decisions to make, right?
Yeah.
Do we bounce? What do we take back? We've got some decisions with this Leviathan expert. It's going to be really interesting to see. Chat wants Ned to win. They want Ned to win this.
That was just a Ned Flanders fan. I didn't realize everybody liked this Simpsons.
I'll tell you what. You play that Y'shtola and you're like, sweet. And then you take the damage and you're like, well, crap.
Well,
there goes my last 2-drop lightning. The one in the break zone just became infinitely more important. It looks like we did. Oh, it looks like we ditched Baby Phoenix for the Y'shtola.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was looking at his list and it looks like he was running a Phoenix. I was trying to see.
It's right under Cindy in the break zone.
Yeah. It looks like there's 2 Phoenixes that he runs in the deck. So he could pull one off the top. That would be huge if he pulled one.
Yeah, you only need 1 lightning in the deck because of the number of searchers. But now you have 0. 2 of them are in damage and 1 of them's in the break zone.
Yeah, this is looking rough. Looks like G might be in a kind of a
it's really unfortunate that he ditched that Phoenix to play the Y'shtola.
Oh yeah.
It's really unfortunate. Knowing that you had ditched 1 basically in turn 1 or turn 2. And you that is such a great card to go ahead and reboot, right? When your opponent invariably kills your lightning. And it looks like Patrick's only running 2. So the Baby Phoenix, the 4-drop Phoenix to resurrect a 2-drop, those are gone too. So again, I still feel like I favor Patrick slightly here just because of the surprise hasty.
And he does have a Elias in hand. That's something to really take notice. Like, he's like one turn away from killing G. He just needs a couple good draws to really pull him through.
It's very weird. Like, I'm watching a matchup, Gabe, where it looks like, okay, we're going to take 6 points of damage, and it's a Mott. So now we are 6-5, getting close. It's really just like they're both going for each other's throat with certain plays here, at the expense sometimes of what I feel like cards you probably wanted to keep and hang on to for a turn or two.
Yeah. How do you feel about that attack? Oh my God,
I don't like the attack. I after the first Neo X Death swing, I haven't liked the attack.
I'm not a huge fan. Like, I meant he's opening the door to let him in for the kill.
It does, yeah. I mean,
it does turn off.
You don't have to worry about Patrick. You don't have to worry about Patrick taking any more damage for Y'shtola getting a 4K ping. If Thao takes 1 point, Y'shtola is going to get a 4K ping and only a 4K ping. So there is no doubling up of, hey, you took 1 point and 2 points of damage. That's not going to happen here. The Y'shtola only has one 4K ping left in her arsenal here as the board is now. And even taking it back to hand and replaying it in some way, it totally shuts off that enter the field effect. You can't take the damage. So
that's fair. It's saying no to certain answers, which is definitely, he's playing around certain like outs for Patrick. And I think Patrick's doing some heavy math here, trying to figure out I think at this point Patrick needs to try to kill G now.
Yeah,
it's not. It's like you win this turn, or it feels like one of those crossword puzzles or something like that.
All right, so we got a Mohammad. We're ditching to play the Belias. So we're gonna get 1K haste and first strike and draw a card. We get Vanille on the draw.
We do get Vanille. That's true.
So we've got a 9K first strikey Y'shtola on board at the moment. Well, the haste doesn't matter, right? Yish has been there for a while.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. It might matter a little bit depending on if there's any like damage. But I'm looking at
All right, we're gonna ditch and play the Vanille for a search of we can't play, right? We have no backups and no hand. But is the Vanille and the Y'shtola enough to get us that next draw? If we get that.
I feel like it's asking a lot. Let's see.
All right, G with a meaty grip of cards here.
Meaty grips, yeah.
And just has to sneak one in. Just has to sneak one in at this point. Can you do something with Yish or Vanille and sneak one in? So peeking at his board, he's got the Unai.
Yeah, if he's got the Unai.
He does. That takes care of one. I can't see what else is in G's hand.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I would have that full grip to the chest. I wouldn't let anybody know.
Chad is saying that there's also a Levi there. Okay, so there's the Unai, and by Yish. If G has the Leviathan, then
if he has the Leviathan, it's over. Yeah.
There's 6. Yeah, so he did. Thanks, Chat, for calling out the Leviathan. I hadn't seen it.
Chat.
And that's going to do this. I mean, Patrick's sitting there with 3 forwards in hand, no responses. Ned gets it. Ned and the Titan get it.
Ned, man, holy moly!
That Titan. Oh,
jeez, that was so juicy. That was so juicy.
I feel so bad for Patrick, right? You are looking at that board like all you have is a Neo Eggs Death, and you have 2 cards in hand. My Bahamut blows you out of the water. What could you possibly have in those 2 cards with no backups? And he's just like, oh, what I have actually is a Titan. So, oh man. So we've seen Cat 13 do its thing in round 2 exactly the way it's supposed to do it. Then we see Cat 13 run up against a turn 1 Neo Eggs Death, where you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit rough. That's going to be a little bit rough.
And then you think you have a clean answer to it, and you see a 2-cost no, like, all right.
Yeah. MVP of this game, Neo Eggs Death, and Patrick's Damage Zone. Yeah. So, by the way, we're talking about tremendous players here. And questioning a play line is by no means impugning these players. They are tremendous players, and it is so easy to sit back, not be at a competitive tournament, and say, I don't know if I would have made that play.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have made that play. But it is by no means trying to be disrespectful to these players who are tremendous players, know their decks, and know
the way you learn, and for even newer players, more competitive, is you got to analyze these kind of plays, right? We can always look here in the booth and say, hey, like maybe I wouldn't have attacked here, but when you're in the moment, when you see the cards you draw, you have different.
And to the point that I made on the first Ned swing, you just had to sneak one in when it came down to it. You know, you just had to, and if you hadn't swung Ned that third time, you're looking at sneaking 2 or 3 in at that point. So, hey, a win's a win, bro.
Yeah.
A win is a win.
Yeah.
You might have Fenrir'd instead of Hecatoning, and maybe I would have too, but a win is a win when it comes down to it.
Exactly. A dub is a dub no matter where you go, you know what I mean? And I think it definitely made for a lot of really cool, like, gameplay kind of reactions, because it was so back and forth. It was so back and forth.
I still can't get over that Titan, man. Oh,
I know. I think that's another thing we also have to look at too when we're in the booth. Like, we know their list. They don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know what's kind of cooking in the list. Now, the 13 list, a lot of the cards are somewhat streamlined. But I mean, he got the win. That was the most important part. And like, I love seeing decks that have that's why I love decks like that. You have so many variety of answers. You have so many variety of options that you know, you can do anything you want, you know, just looking at G's list, just having a ton of different responses, a bunch of one-ups, being able to react to any situation is like amazing. Like, just to have the Titan just come out and just,
well, then you have late in the match, right, where Patrick, we're looking at Y'shtola and we're like, ooh, that is, now that Neo Exdeath's off the field, that Y'shtola is super dangerous. Super dangerous. And then Y'shtola puts your second Lightning after you've ditched your second Phoenix to pay for the Y'shtola into your damage zone, and you're just like, ugh, that sucks. That's really bad. And on the swing, a Leviathan pops, and you're just like, I cannot catch a break. I can't catch a break here at all.
I will say, this is the first game we've seen on stream where a burst really like dictated how the game would lay out. That Leviathan was so huge. Leviathan was
the Leviathan was big. But the Ned into Titan was
Ned and Titan
so key.
Dictated the entire thing. But to see double
the next 5 turns were totally locked down because of the Ned. And the Leviathan's just the icing on the cake, right?
When you want to go fast and you can't go fast anymore because all your stuff's dying, I mean, that's essentially that's rough. It's real rough. But he played that very well too. Like, he was very, very close to getting there. That was another thing. I think chat was even saying it. Like, I think a lot of people were back and forth just saying like, oh, well, he's actually just close to dead, because he was very close to dead. But that's how, like, these small, intricate decisions are so important in this game. You can just lose on the spot because of it. But, like, that's how close this game was.
That was a great matchup. That was an absolutely wonderful matchup to watch. Round 3 here of the Materia Cup at Collector's Cash. Again, thank you to the crew. Cam behind the scenes, not getting any recognition here. You can't hear him, but I can hear him.
My guy, Cam's killing it.
Cam's killing it on the stream presentation here, and the entire team at Collector's Cash absolutely killing it. Great event so far. We are 3 rounds in. By the way, our break is going to be after next round, so we will be back with round 4, and then
we're 40 to 45 minutes.
We'll have a break after round 4 for everybody to get some lunch. Obviously, if you are looking to get into Final Fantasy TCG, welcome. If you have questions, there are some absolute ballers in our chat. We'll be happy to answer them too if we can see them as we're watching Titans protect a Neo Eggs Death. If we see the questions, we'll try and answer. If you're looking for products, support your local stores first. But if you don't have local stores, check out collectorscash.com. They'll be more than happy to help you out. Shout out to the entire team at the store, and Rochelle and the Square NX team.
hosting locals beforehand, and 116 people, guys. Like organized.
And a top 32 cut. A top 32 cut coming.
I know, Michael Byrne, you could have been there. I know.
I was there. I blame Lockwood. I hope he's in chat. I hope he's in chat too.
I hope he is too. I miss that guy. I stopped at his. I mean, oh man, I'm so wrong. But
that's gonna do it. We'll be back in a few minutes. Get up, stretch your legs, refill your drinks, go to the bathroom, smoke them if you got them. Be right back with round 4.
Going here. I'm pretty excited. I haven't seen a lot of Earth Water just yet, and I just love how the mid-rangey value, like it has a little bit of control, a little bit of removal. It does have a different ways to kind of get control. It has a lot of one-of summons, which I really, really like here. It's running like a Titan here, which is really, really nice to see. I haven't seen that card in a little while, since the Monk days.
All right, Christina, right into Waka. You're not going to take the Waka off that reveal, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'll put that to the bottom. That's fine.
Yeah, mono water Leo deck. Well, a water lightning Leo. We are seeing again your boy Feel Thanos in Christina's deck.
Oh yeah, my good old friend. There we go. We got a Sarah going up. What is he tutoring up?
Let's go get ourselves a prince, a princess. Hey, look at that. It's 1-drop Princess Sarah.
There we go. 1-drop princess. It allows you to color fix. It's a cheap, efficient like backup that you can use to kind of fluctuate the colors that you need. Let's see here.
Ditching one, just overpaying to get it on the field right now. Now, we don't see, there's no marker being put down yet, whether that is earth or water.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, earth for color fixing would be nice, but with the high number of water forwards in here, there is the value of making it water for the 1K buff that it can provide.
Mm-hmm.
Krys, with both players doing exactly what they want to do here, right? Just getting their Princess Sarah out. Christina on the other side, playing the Sildra, searching 2 water characters of either Cat 5 or just water in general of varying colors. Here comes Princess Sarah. We're going to search our own princess, or whatever. Presumably here. Probably also, there it is, Princess Sarah. And I would imagine that Krys probably makes that lightning, only because they're out to 3 backups and... No, I would imagine probably water there. You're looking for like the lightning, Feel Thanos, and Thancred and stuff to be free played off Leo. You don't really want to be tied into playing those in hand, so probably water on that side.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what we're seeing here is I feel like in round 2, we saw Kyle Peters do something very similar, search for the same backups, but this is now a slower, grindier game, and we can see, a Titus being played.
Okay, so Titus turns the clock on, right? Mm-hmm. Now the clock is on. You're going to have to, if you want to eat that Titus and give Noah a bunch of free cards, or at least the option to go get a bunch of free cards, or you're going to take 1 damage per turn. Exactly.
He's putting pressure on there. So you know what's kind of funny here? I think it's asking for a response. I don't think they necessarily need to, because of the pace of play. She could still build, which helps. You know what I mean? There's the Thornton here. She's taking a little bit of a slower approach, a little bit more of a grinder.
But you have to, right? That's the build. And that's why you grab Larsa off of this, because now you've got 1-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop. You've got the 6-drop in hand. You're just looking for a 2.
Mm-hmm.
You're just looking to put a 2, and then that 1-drop Leo forward that can be super dangerous is online.
Yeah. And I think we're getting to the point where she's setting up, like, he's presenting the Titus to at least apply the pressure, but she's saying, well, why do I care? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I have my own game plan. I don't really... It makes me wonder if Noah's hand isn't as strong. But...
Oh, now this is a good play against this deck.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Gonna get rid of the 3-drop Waka. So now
no, I'm just kidding.
And now we're also gonna play Fenrir as well. So we're gonna pop a backup and rescue the 2-drop Garnet that we ditched a little, or I'm sorry, Ico that we ditched a little earlier. Now this is gonna put Christina back.
Yeah,
this is gonna put Christina back.
Mm-hmm. It pretty much time walks, because it's essentially taking away what she did all last turn. He put a bunch of bodies on the board, essentially. as well as creating some value here. I think Tidus is one of those kinds of threats that you have to respect, but you don't always have a great answer for him, right? Target him, he bottoms himself. Plus, Aiko's like a good engine here.
Yeah, and Christina unfortunately just lost 2 of important number value, right? For turning Leo on. Now we're at 1 and 5, so we've got to rebuild, get our 2, 3, 4, and 6 out. There's going to be our 6. Larsa on entry going to give us 2 cards. So refunds a lot of what we needed. Wow, that was a quick play. Let's ditch 2 and cast Sildra and
she
go
had
get
Sildra in hand, which is like super helpful. She can rebuild it again. Now it does it did Time Walker a little bit, but let's see. She's back into the Leo kind of value engine that he creates just by being able to get the numbers back online. So it looks like go for
we grab a 3-drop Waka and a 4-drop Sarah. Cards we've already seen on the field once. But Noah in a weird little top decky spot, right?
Yeah,
Mist Dragon.
Oh my god, yeah.
Rips the Mist Dragon off the top of the deck, exiles that break zone, draws a card, deals 2 damage. Things, they're just coming up raw right now.
That's for sure.
Getting rid of that break zone now ahead of preemptively seeing a Lena on field was super big.
It's insane.
It was super big.
It builds a lot of tempo to see a Mist Dragon really like slaughter it down. At least getting that there, and I think Christina's really having. She has to make some tough choices now to be able to see the numbers she needs. So there's another Sarah.
Yeah, well, she did take the 2-drop monster. So we've got our 2. We've already see on field 1, obviously, 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I would imagine that Christina is going to chuck that monster out, get a draw, and we'll be fully online 1 through 6.
Oh yeah.
This is just a trim of the deck at this point.
Yeah, we're just kind of fitting our deck to just try to see our good cards, right? We're kind of getting ready for that final swing now. And she's in a comfortable position.
There's the blue worm. Get the card.
The worm.
And there's the Leo. Ditch out, overpay for it. Now we're going to try and resolve off the top of the deck. Noah doing a quick count. Do you see it? Let me 1, 2, 3 more 5s. Okay, fine. Okay. Go ahead. Now you're looking for a big baller. Thancred in hand. Costs 7. This should be...
There it is.
Yeah. You also have Ash, though, that is going to take care of something if you want it to. You probably wouldn't target the Tidus in there.
No, probably not.
Just nuke the Ico and call it a day.
Nuke the Ico and call it a day. I think that's probably the best choice there.
Yep.
She's presenting a lot of. She goes for the Tidus. Interesting.
Pockets it, and of course Noah puts the Tidus back on its auto ability for being targeted. Goes ahead and grabs some cards. Now, from here, right, Christina really wants to bounce or flicker that Leo as many times as possible, right? Yeah. Keep getting value. Like the Thancred was cute, but your break zone had been toasted. So, the Ash is the play on that one.
For sure.
But Krys now also sitting here with no cards in hand.
Yeah.
Ditching 2, dulling 1, playing the Rydia. So the Rydia backup is going to allow Noah to jump in, get a summon and a job summoner of different elements from their deck. So basically a 1-cost backup that curates exactly what you're going to pull to hand. So let's go get us a job summoner and a summon.
What summoner do you pick here? That's kind of what I would...
Yuna. Yeah, you take Yuna.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, you're fine at this point. You don't have Yuna yet. You're ahead on the damage. You have basically board state, assuming that Krys does not flicker or top deck something that allows Leo to be flickered or pulled back and immediately played. So you can afford to take the Yuna, get that discount on water summons, and then hold a Mist Dragon in your hand for
just
when the
extra protection.
Yeah, when the break zone is viable and relevant again. And the worst part is now Krys knows that the Mist Dragon's in Noah's hand, so it's kind of like, ugh.
Yeah. Now we know.
Handing out for
The
Sir
worst part
Thao.
is knowing that it exists. It really alters how you play, how you increase your playing field. Really, it's a feels bad moment when you have something that can really just like cleanly answer. Say, there we go. Like she recognizes that's like a super clean answer to what she does, but you have to make them play it out, right? You have to get it out of there.
Thao kind of feels bad there, right? Because you want the free monster play from the break zone, but that's already been excised. Your break zone doesn't have any monsters in it. You only have one monster on field, so Gao gains 1,000 power for each monster, so he is a 7k forward. You do have the special, but you can only use that if you control 3 or more monsters, and Christina just hasn't been able to get to those high pressure points.
She hasn't been able to get it because her break zone's been removed every single time, so okay. All right, so it looks like she's triggering an Ico ability here.
Bringing in Leviathan, and see, now that's the benefit of having double backup summoners. You don't have to give up much to go ahead and cast a 6-drop.
Yeah, not bad. And it looks. I was trying to see what they return to their hand now. Is that a realm?
We got a whoop.
Oh, it was a Une. It looks like
and we have removed 2 summons to make Unai cheaper. Now we're gonna bounce a forward and a backup. Up to. So these are both optional triggers, but no reason not to take advantage of them at this point.
Sure.
Emo Tempest, I assume that both of these players are undefeated because the table ranking we have is table 1 for them. So
yeah,
if
Emo,
the tables
I
are being
ask,
sorted by ranking,
if I find out, I will
undefeated.
let you know too.
All right, so they did opt to not give them Leo back. Obviously, smart choice. And Krys only gets to return a backup to hand. Hey, we've got Princess Sarah on board. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party.
Welcome back. Welcome.
Paying 5 for Realm. Okay, now this starts to make things exciting. This starts to make things exciting, right? We're going to go find some monsters.
Yeah.
And slap those bad boys down. Presumably some of these, or at least one of these monsters, is also probably going to give us a draw. Oh, no. No. We go with Sahagin, get the counter, and then we got Big Turtle Boy.
Turtle boys, big turtle gamers.
But now we're at 3 monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Gao not on the field anymore, but...
No. Still, it's a lot of value, a lot of pressure, a lot of board presence here. And I think... one thing to mention is having that little bit of protection with Mateusz is really good for even blocking purposes. It might put a kind of a stance. Noah having the amount of free summons that he can play through Ico might actually, may not grow the wall that's needed, but it looks like she drew some insane stuff.
Here comes Levi.
There we go.
Here comes Levi off of the bounce.
Pretty good. Not bad.
So we're going to get to choose a forward and a backup. Cuculane, turning off abilities, probably targeting Levi to stop the 9K.
Yeah.
To stop the 9K reduction on the bounce. So Krys will still get the bounce of a forward and a backup, but won't get the payoff of a 9,000 power loss to anything remaining.
It's on there.
Noah picks up a card. And so here's the other thing. Let me ask you this. Do you think at this moment, like Noah's kind of looking at things going, you know what, worst case scenario, I just stalemate this?
Yeah.
Because Christina's gone through a lot of cards.
She might deck out. That might be something that really is a problem. She's gone through a ton of her deck, just tutoring a bunch of stuff. She's went for Realm. Like, I would say that maybe she has less than maybe 15 cards in deck. So it's very possible, like, he's only at 1 damage, so he could potentially just slow the game down so that, she can deck out. But she does have a lot of board presence here. And now it's getting to the point where she can start making, some attacks now. And I'm looking at Noah's list.
Noah, Christina's got to watch out. Noah is running Titan, Lord of Crags, and the 5-drop Hecatoncheir summon. Yeah. So there are board clear capabilities.
There's answers.
Unai using the ability to rescue a summon from break zone. Noah taking the Cuculane, immediately casting it, take abilities away and draw a card here. And Christina kind of at the mercy of, I'll sit and watch. Like,
yeah. Let me. She's watching as the tornado kind of blows around to see if she can get off there.
I don't know what Noah targeted.
I don't
know whose abilities are gone at the moment.
Okay, there's an Ico.
And we're going to tap some summoners to cast a Sildra.
We're going to get a Sildra. Now, that's really good because he can kind of target some answers. Looks like he's getting a...
Echidna and Garnet. Now, he does have the 5-drop Hecaton already in his break zone, so if Noah wants to just hard play, not warp, but hard play the Garnet, you could immediately grab it.
Yeah.
The Echidna on the free play is also going to grab you a summon.
And he has a full grip, too. So
Garnet goes bye-bye. We're casting the Leviathan. I love this Leviathan.
Yeah, I like this Leviathan so much.
So we're going to bounce. So we probably, I would assume, have used the Cuculane on the Leviathan earlier then, so that this bounce doesn't penalize him. Leviathan is not only going to bounce a forward back to Christina's hand, but that forward then cannot even be played next turn. And here comes Echidna. We're probably going to pull back the Hecaton. Yeah, there it is. Pulling back the Hecaton as the fail-safe.
This deck out thing might be a real issue because, I mean, next turn, her board's going to be gone. Now, remind me, on Montoys, does that reduce damage from a forward? Is there
it reduces by 3, and when the damage that a forward takes, it's reduced by 3, and it also draws you a card.
Oh, she uses it now. I guess she's just digging. She has a Leviathan from the hand from when it was.
This isn't looking great, right? I see a Larsa in hand, that's dead. I see a Leviathan that you can't play in hand right now. I think that's what is that? A Sahagin Chief, looks like, in between the Larsa. Oh, no, that's a Lena. That's a Lena.
Oh, it's a Lena?
Which your break zone was nuked, so Lena doesn't feel particularly great. I can't see that last card in Christina's hand. Echidna being made a forward by the ditching of Hecaton. Blocks, gets Realm off the board, and draws a card for blocking. And, it was a Lightning. Okay.
There's the Lightning. Okay.
That's sneaky.
That's sneaky. Oh, I like that. Only
worked because Echidna was made a forward.
Skadoosh.
That only worked because Noah made Echidna a forward to block and draw the card. That's what gave Lightning the ability to say, hey.
Very heads-up play. I really like that.
Noah has more forwards than me. Here comes Lightning to remove a forward from play then. And only was the case because Echidna had been made a forward. Neat play.
I really like that. It looks like... All right, so he's getting the chair, and he's going to play it for free to just nuke the board.
Yep. Yeah, honestly, I think Noah's just, hey, you know what? I'm just going to run this down.
Yeah.
You're not worried about the blue worm. You're not, you've got your Echidna. Really. You've got 5 backups. So basically anything you top deck is playable on Noah's side.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it's just kind of a clock. If you can do an extra pointer damage to take half a turn or a turn away from Christina, great. If you can't, that's fine too. Just keep some forwards out there. We do get Leo, though.
Mm-hmm. We went through,
2, 3,
a lot of
4. Yeah, I'm trying to glimpse it. Like, it only looks like there's like 3 or 4 cards left in there, plus what Christina's looking at in their hand right now.
See, it's interesting because I see a couple ashes, a couple realms. So I feel like realms, it's a decent target. But I'm wondering, how do you clear the game from here? That's one thing I'm trying to see from Krys' perspective, because you need to play a lot of, dudes or forwards to kind of go ahead. You have this blocker here that can kind of chump.
Well, the whole thing was you didn't like what you revealed initially off of Leo. So you Sahagin Chief, bounce the Leo back to your hand, and now you get the card you want.
There's your clear board right there.
So we're going to bounce a backup, and we're going to bounce a monster. No forwards to lose any power, but
it's a big deal.
Blue Worm becomes a forward, tags for a point of damage, but that does mean that Blue Worm's now gone at the end of Krys's turn. Not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. The pressure is just on. You are seriously on a clock, deck-wise.
So how do you
well, Noah's got the Tidus in hand. Here comes the Echidna again. Pretty predictable that was going to see play again. Now take it, Noah. Look at Noah very carefully. What's in your break zone? What is removed from game?
For any new players, being aware of what everybody's kind of played in their breaks is super important, just to understand like how to kind of play around certain cards, kind of think about what type of options does Christina have left that could respond to that. This is where the big like think tank versions of the game, trying to understand where their opponent is on card numbers so I can react a certain way, or you know what I mean? Like
my buddy.
Oh my god, here's the mind flare.
This could make some spicy things. So Noah is going to get to look at the top 2 cards of Christina's deck and remove one card from the game and then put the other at the bottom of your opponent's deck. And at any point, Noah will then be able to cast the removed card as if it were his. As if it were his. So I imagine...
Is that double Ash?
Noah was probably taking a peek at, what do we got left in that deck?
Yeah.
What do we got left?
What ingredients do I have here? What is the rock cooking right now?
Yep, took the Ash. Totally makes sense. Oh.
Sarah. Ooh.
And here's the thing. Worst case scenario, it just took one more card out of Christina's deck. Like, worst case scenario.
He's looking at his deck, too. It looks like she has less than, like, 5 cards. I don't know if she's going to be able to, you know, deal 7 points before she decks.
Oh, did I say any point? Yeah, I meant any point this turn for my player. My bad. All right, here's Sir Gao back with no monsters on field, but able to resurrect Sahagin, which could then be popped for Leo in a pinch if need be. Mm-hmm. But your options are so slim, and you have to start dealing damage.
Yeah, you have to kind of keep going.
Swinging with Leviathan, blocking with Ash. Princess Sarah obviously probably was made water there, so now Leviathan is pumped by 10k. All the water forwards are, but 10k for Leviathan kills the Ash. Leo gets in there for 4.
That's right.
For damage number 4. Not out of this yet.
No.
Yeah, Ash was in play. Now Ash is dead.
Dead. Big dead. All that.
And here comes Tidus. Probably the card that
is a mill one.
Does not want to see. Now I can do Noah can do a point of damage every single turn, and we are down to literally a few cards on Christina's deck.
That is a big deal. Big deal.
All right, so we've got the 4-drop Renoa, the flickers in hand. We've got another, looks like a Leviathan in hand. We've got another Gao in hand, but that special's kind of useless at the moment since Christina doesn't have 3 monsters. I can't see that last card. Oh, Thancred. Looks like Thancred. Matchless Glory. I don't know how I feel about the Ash block there.
I don't know how I feel about that either, to be honest.
Although, you know what? When you're playing on stream, when you're playing at a tournament, like it's a totally different game, right?
Yeah.
And it's so easy to forget Princess Sarah, too. But Krys's hand is, like, just toast right now.
Yeah.
It's just toast. Able to deal damage, puts Noah on 6, but Noah's kind of in a position where it's, hey, I'm going to swing with Tidus. I'm going to do a point of damage, and basically any forwards I get, I'm just chucking them on the field.
Yeah.
6-drop. Was that the 6-drop Leviathan? Oh,
man.
X-Burst 6-drop Leviathan. Sir Gao headed back to hand. Garnet coming back to Noah's hand. That is the second game in a row that we have seen that pop.
Has dictated the pace, and it's, oh man. There we go.
Noah deciding, is it even worth swinging here, I think. can't. Is there? It looks like there's like 2 or 3
It looks like
cards.
there's 2 cards in deck. I
I
mean,
mean, if there's 2 cards, then you just.
Yeah, you just.
What did we do there?
What happened there? Yeah.
What did I miss, chat?
What did I miss? Yeah. You both.
Why did Titus
What's
just
happening?
go away? Oh, the Leviathan killed it. The Leviathan bounced.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Noah opting
I
not
see
to
what
put it
the
in deck.
decision tree was. I think he was trying to decide whether they wanted to bottom the card in the deck if he thinks deck out as like a real, you know what I mean? Answer.
Yeah, he opted not to put it to pocket it to get the draw. Because it's an optional trigger.
Yeah, it's an optional trigger. You choose to bottom.
You may put him in
may
the
put
deck.
it to the bottom.
And yeah, chat's absolutely right. Like Noah doesn't have a ton of cards left. He just happens to have more. Like, you know. Yeah. So you're avoiding drawing at this point.
So I think Noah's game plan here is to just let the game grind long enough, just so you know she decks out.
Here's Garnet. We'll just grab a summon. We're not worried about warp. We're just worried about putting bodies out. We can't take.
I see what he's doing now. He's just milling.
Yep. Here comes Mind Flayer. And if Krys actually has 2 cards in deck, which is what it looks like on the camera, that would be GG.
Yeah, it would be GG there.
If Krys has 3 there, which maybe, based on the camera shot, there's a 3rd card hiding. Sahagin, bouncing Leo. Mind Flayer going to resolve. Nope, there's just 2, so this is going to be GG. You get this card back. I'm going to put this out of game. You know what? I'll go ahead and play it, but you can't draw for turn.
Yeah, you can't draw. That was very important that he didn't bottom the card. He chose not to, because then she would have had another turn. Mm-hmm. That was such a weird, close game. Actually,
it was a great game. That might be my favorite game of the day so far on stream.
For sure.
There was a lot of fun byplay there. It looked like Christina was just gonna that hackathon and then into Fenrir. That play looked like, oh man, that's just gonna shut Christina down. Like, you aren't gonna see Leo now. It's gonna take at least 2 turns to rebuild to get those numbers. So that looked bad. Then the Mist Dragon makes things worse. But then Christina still manages to rebuild it, play the Leo, get the Leo to resolve a couple of times. Maybe not the best of targets at certain times in some of those Leos, obviously. Like in one, we had to Sahagin just to basically bounce Leo and try again. Mm-hmm. But that's the danger of I've got very few cards left. That might be my favorite game of the tournament so far that we've seen on stream.
I'm such a blue player. Like, I love being able to see my whole deck multiple times, and I think it was one of those games that it's been just like she was really coming, and she was able to rebuild every time. She went through double Hecaton pair, Fenrir to break her back, and she was still rebuilding. Now, I wonder, it was very interesting how that game really went into deck out, and it kind of shows how long these games can go, and how it's very different than what we've seen today in a lot of our games, right? We've seen very fast-paced games for the most part. That was a very slow, grindy, and it was just crazy to see how 6-cost Leviathan really dictated the pace of how that game went.
Yeah, I mean, they have 30 rounds. Or 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes in a round to get it done.
30 rounds, we're going to be here a minute. We'll be here.
Correctly pointing out that both players played at a nice clip. They took their time, they made their decisions, but they made their decisions and they went. In
a good pace that we got to see a full round of games. And it was really just like a lot of like, and for any newer players, like the cool thing about this game really rewards high level of play. It was one of those things where there were many different intricate decisions on the blocking with Ashe. Did you like that block with Ashe overall?
I did not. No. I wasn't a fan of that block because it opened up the extra damage. And Noah's got cards in deck advantage at that point, but not by a lot.
Not a ton.
Not by a ton, right? You're not looking at 25 in yours and 8 in theirs. That just isn't the scenario. You've drawn a lot too because you have water. But again, it's one of those things where like I totally blanked and forgot Princess Sarah was on board.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff happens. And I don't know if Noah forgot that or if Noah just intentionally wanted to block to try and save a card in Noah's
save
deck.
a card, yeah.
And that might have been the case. Noah saying, yeah, I'm about 6 cards ahead, but I want to stay about 6 cards ahead. So I'm going to give you your Ash back into the break zone
Sure.
and just let you nuke it. And hey, I'm going to force you to use the Princess Sarah if you want to keep that Leviathan alive.
For sure.
So, it's I don't know if I would have done it, but I also don't look at it saying that was a misplay or a bad play.
No, it's just a different way of looking at it. I think when you're going through like at least 25 cards, you're gonna know that they're gonna have less cards than you.
Yeah.
And I think having all that removal at your disposal is huge, right?
And how about 6-drop Leviathan for the second game in a row?
The card seems pretty okay. It seems not bad. Some may say
pretty all right.
It's all right. It's lukewarm. It's just above room temperature.
Here's a Leviathan. Go ahead and get yourself something real nice. Real nice.
Very nice.
Chat, we're going to head to break now. Break is going to run until 2:15 Central Time. So an hour from now, that's 3:15 East Coast Time. And then we'll be back here with the Collector's Cash Materia Cup Round 5. We've got 3 rounds left, Gabe. We're over halfway. 6-drop Leviathan's great when it's free. We've got 3 rounds left.
If it's free, it's for me.
Yep, it's absolutely been a blast. Hope you're enjoying the event. Hope you're enjoying the coverage and the commentary.
Shout outs to Collector's Patch for hosting this. It's been so smooth. It's been so much fun. Shout outs to Cam, who's lurking in the shadow realms here, helping us out here. But we have a little bit of a little lunchtime,
A little bit of lunch. Get up, stretch your legs, refill your drinks, go to the bathroom, smoke them if you got them. We'll see you in an hour.
Yeah. I definitely, I think the Ice Earth matchup that DeShawn has a lot of reactory stuff. I'm seeing a lot of different kind of things. Like I'm seeing like a Robo Akbal, Ice, which kind of locks stuff down. He's running a Shadow Lord, which is super kind of nice tech here.
Well, that is a really nice tech. Obviously, the deck has Shantoto in it and Hecatoncheir in it for board clears. But that Shadow Lord is balls to the walls crazy against Final Fantasy 13. It's a good.
You just name 3 and they just melt. It'll also work as pretty good removal here too. But there's a lot of really good.
Not 13. Sorry, Soiree. Provided that Adele is not out. Yeah. Because of the job function. He was Soiree and Eerie. Okay, so he making a change for today. In the Materia Cup here.
Ooh, it's our turn 1 Arcanist. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that Arcanist has been like the GOAT of this format a little bit. Because if they can't win, they can just stall the attacks out and mill you out.
Yeah, and again, we just mentioned Shadow Lord for Soiree, again, provided Madame Adele isn't out, but Arcanist against Soiree, the entire deck for the most part is cost 4, and Arcanist allows you to just pay some CP, and declare a number, and any forward that cost can attack. You just so Mohammad, exactly the type of setup you want to go with. Turn on their first turn, Sarah into Princess Sarah, and DeShawn with the Arcanist. As DeShawn on this side, you really want to see Rydia come out next. There it is, perfect.
Yeah.
So you got the opening you want. The only way that gets better is if it was Unalesca into Rydia, because then maybe there's the argument of, cool, I'm getting Unalesca out early and I'm trimming another Unalesca out of my deck. But Arcanist into Rydia, right up there with the best openings for you. And now you're showing, hey, I'm going to get Rydia online, which means my Biblos and my Weisses, like anything that gets me dull freezes, is going to be hyper valuable, and I'm showing you I have a Hecaton in hand. Don't go wide on me or I'll punish you.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of covering both fronts of the entire realm of both levels of how this deck can play. Now, I know that the deck is running, it looks like a Sarah. That's pretty good. He's curving out here.
Yeah, we saw him grab it off of Princess Sarah.
Yeah. We did see him grabbing off of that. I know Mohammad's super meticulous when he plays here. He did discard a Tyro, which makes me believe he has a Tyro in hand. Let me see what he goes here.
Kryl, so easy 4-drop that becomes a 2-drop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that a Super Bowl ring that he's wearing?
That's right. He is.
Representing the bling.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna dull 2, ditch 1, and here's Nero. This is like you're it. DeShawn is in. Like this is it.
Doing it.
Now, the Nero's gonna get you the Weiss. Now you have Weiss in hand. You have Unileska up. Like it only gets better if Byblos was already on the field. Like
exactly. You can't really write this up any worse, folks. This is like what the
DeShawn is pumped and primed, just gonna hang tight. Totally makes sense. You've got Weiss, you've got Hecatoncheir, you've got your bases covered. Nero, by the way, the amount of people that I caught with Ahmad trying to Ahmad Weiss's trigger when he enters the field and not realizing that discard trigger actually comes off of Nero.
Yeah.
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 So you're right. There's the Tyro.
There's the Tyro.
Right. Now, what do we take here? It depends on what Mohammad has in hand.
Happen in the next couple turns, right? We're going to look at a lot of freezing, so he's got to pick something that really preps to, I mean, he sees what's going on here.
And Mohammad and I played this matchup, and he's played it a bundle of times, I'm sure, besides our matchup. He knows exactly what he's against. He knew from turn 1, basically, as soon as you saw Arcanist, and then you knew for sure once you saw Rydia.
Yeah, Adam. So just to give you some background, we've seen a lot of Rydia. We're seeing Ice Earth versus some Rydia summons. We've seen a lot of 13. We've seen some
waters.
2
Leo decks, yeah.
Yeah, this is looking to be pretty exciting because it looks like they're having a gentleman's game. It's backup for backup, but we're about to see some guns a-blazing.
I'm not surprised to see a gentleman's game from these 2 fine gentlemen either.
Oh, yeah. All the fine gentlemen having fine gentleman games,
All right, so what do we got? Dull 2, and we get our Knight. Okay, so here we go. We've got a crystal. Our Robel Akbel is online for a clean break. We're going to dull 2, ditch 1, and there's the Weiss. So we're going to force a discard and then a dull freeze of a character here off of Weiss's discard.
I think we just freeze the Tyro here, I would think, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's the only one that represents the ability for all elements. Oh, he goes Sarah. I don't hate that decision.
I don't hate it either.
We also, unfortunately, don't know what element Sarah was made. So, that could.
I think just having the extra buff might matter if there's like some removal. I'm kind of looking at Sean's list here. It looks like he doesn't have any like burn, but it looks like he has a lot of reactionatory. It looks like it's Solera, some Kusifs.
Yeah, so most of the summons in that deck are Earth. In fact, I tend to, and this is a little risky, I tend to run only Earth summons in there. But you do see the 1 ice summon teched in. Now it's not going to matter in this matchup, but the reason Cecil comes down, so we're going to get a free play. And there's our boy Aaron now becoming a lightning rod.
Yeah.
But the reason you run that 1 ice summon is just in case Rydia gets played at a really odd time. You don't have any Unileskas left, so you actually have to grab another Rydia. If all you have are Earth summons, then grabbing Rydia prohibits you from also grabbing a summon. So you run that 1 ice summon in there. In case Rydia has to search Rydia, you can still grab a summon of a different element.
You can grab something. Now, the interesting thing is, I feel like the Arcanist is actually going to play a big part in this game. So he's going in for a swing here.
So here's the problem now for DeShawn. Cecil is already a pain in the neck in the Ice-Earth matchup. Cecil Aaron on board is just even worse.
Yeah.
It's just even worse.
But I see what he's doing there. Just doing he wants a clean slate off of there. I think he knows that if both of them are on the board, he's not going to be able to, it's just going to overpower. Oh, man.
There's that dope Warrior of Light, #value.
Value.
So I would assume then that Princess Sarah is an element that gave the possibility of Warrior of Light coming out last turn, and that's why DeShawn targeted it.
I've already visited Flavortown. I got to go to Value Town next. That's just the rules,
All right, so we're all tied up on damage. I can't quite see what that is. It looks like it might be a Weiss. It's an AK ice forward of some type. I'm seeing a leg. Maybe it's a wise. I know that.
You see a little leg there? Nothing like a little leg on a Saturday afternoon, you know?
I'm seeing a leg. All right, Sildra, so we're going to go grab some stuff. As far as the number of Weiss that we see in DeShawn's deck, we are looking at 3. I would have been surprised if it were any other number, but yeah, I double-checked for you, Real Ninja. It's 3. Ninja. I was checking the deck list, so what was the Sildra grab?
Yeah.
Did you see what targets?
I did not. I was my stream was frozen on the side.
Or are we still resolving this?
Yeah, I think we're still resolving. I think Mohammed's deep in thought.
It was Unai and Sophie. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Gonna bounce from screen to screen here sometimes.
Yeah.
All right.
Screen to screen action. Yeah.
There goes the Sophie for the Unai. This is a power play move right here. That's get Unaleska off the board. Even though you don't get a forward off the board, you get the Unaleska discard effect off the board. Force it to come. Now it's not a factor for 2 turns, right? If it's played this turn, doesn't matter. It's not useful until the following turn. And Unai, without some removal right now, is going to threaten to start just being a 9K blocking threat.
Yeah.
And then, hey, on your main 2, I'm going to dull it and rescue a summon from my break zone and just keep getting value off of it. It'd be really nice, I think, if DeShawn had the Roble in hand right now. But Unai and Warrior of Light are both juicy targets, but I think you have to get Unai off the board as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he is running 3 Robles right now, but I think the clean answer would be to get the Unai. Now, he does have Shantoto to kind of clear the board, and he left 4 back.
Yeah, that feels bad right now if you have to do that.
He wants to, but I think Shantoto is just like a clean answer. Also, Cactar, he's running as a 1-of, could cleanly finish it off.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Lord feels bad because you're only getting 1
Shadow
or 2.
Lord does feel bad, but it's
Shantoto feels bad, but that looks like that's where we're going. Yeah. It doesn't feel great, but you have to do it.
You got to do it.
If you don't have the way to just pluck the Unai, then just get them both off the board. Why not?
Yeah.
But now DeShawn's in a weird spot.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to get Unaleska back on the field until he gets rid of that knight.
Yeah. See what he does here.
Going for K-Sith. All right, what are we going to grab from our break zone here?
We grab in here. Oh, he's getting the Fasoya.
Well, I mean, you have plenty of colors online.
Oh, man.
Oh,
that's a big ooskies. Now, that's all court for Mohammad now. That's I mean, he has a full grip, which is good. That might have been a way to kind of bait and switch a Mist Dragon a little bit. It definitely does build towards something big here, but I mean, I think for me, I think you have to burn through him. Now, I know he's...
There's the Roble. I got to feel like he just topped. I got to feel like DeShawn topped.
Yeah, he had to. He would have...
I feel like if DeShawn had that last turn, he would have just popped Unai and let Warrior
do his thing. It feels really
do
bad to waste it, like an entire turn to just remove 2 forwards. If you had the Robo, he would have just jammed, you know.
So here's the thing, though. That Mist Dragon had other implications. It didn't just stop Mohammed's play on the Kate Sith. We already saw some high-value targets in there. A Unai, a Warrior of Light, a Sophie, all of which can be Kusith back later in this matchup. And so, that did a little more damage than just stopping the Kate Sith.
Exactly. It did a lot there. It really did. And I am seeing, too, that he's running like a Porum in here from Opus 9, so that can also lead implications for other summons and things like that. It was big.
And we got Sildra targets to determine here. We're going to get ourselves 2 Water or Cat 5 characters of differing cost.
Looks like one of the twins are coming out to play here.
Looks like it.
Yeah, this is a hard choice here because you have a threat active on the board. Now both players are pretty set up. Now you have a full grip. How many cards does DeShawn have? I think he has like 5. Does he have a full grip
Looks
too?
like he's got 4, yeah. Warrior of Light potentially is 1 water target. And Rosa.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the problem for Mohammad right now is that Roble. Not that you care too much about an 8K forward sitting there, right? But the problem becomes in the value. Were those... Yeah, okay, so we did swap out because we had a cost problem between the 2 4 costs. So now we've got the 2 cost forward and the 4 cost. Way to go, gentlemen. I didn't want to have to message anybody.
Yeah.
But the Roble, if you can't get rid of it, extra card per turn, right?
It just keeps accumulating value, right? You keep like just gaining this momentum, and if you don't, it's almost like Tenzin. If you don't answer it, it kind of slowly takes over the game.
So we put out a Porum, we cast Asura, choosing to activate all of our backups. So we're basically right where we started, except now we've got the threat of blanking abilities on board. And there's the Warrior of Light, who's going to bounce up those backups again and get us a card. This is the danger of why I was like, Shantoto does not feel great when we had to play it, but we kind of had to
do it. It was like it feels bad, like you kind of know you have to do it, but it doesn't feel great.
Warrior of Light poking with that hastiness for a second point of damage on DeShawn. That I keep going back in my head if I'm in DeShawn's spot to, man, that Unalesca getting bounced back and then being forced into Shantotoing following having that Unalesca in hand did not feel real good. Because literally the only backup we can sack is Knight, and it's a weird one to sack.
It's a weird
it has to
one
be
to
on
sack.
your
Yeah, it's
own
not
turn, and a forward of cost 3 or less to dull it. So we're missing a piece of what a key piece of what the deck wants to do engine wise here on DeShawn's side.
Now, Chat just mentioned that you could Knight the Forum, but
yeah, you can.
Insane.
At least there's a target now.
Yeah,
right?
there's something you can target with it, so at least you can get it off the board if needed.
Yep, as long as it's cost 3 or less. And the benefit here, though, I guess for DeShawn is the longer Robles can stay on the board, the better.
The more value,
Yeah. But I gotta believe that Mohammad's gonna kill that next turn. I just don't
it's gotta
see
go. Like it's
the
one of
only
those,
reason.
You let that
Here we
hang
go.
out for a
There's the
while.
Knight. There's the
There
Knight.
it is. He's doing it.
There's the Knight. Sacking it to dull Porum. And we're going to go search a monster. Okay. So I would imagine in this case...
You might just see one scaly boy. You think one scaly boy's coming out here?
I really, really do. I want... Because Unalesca is now locked out... Okay, Astroprotoflorian. This could be an expensive play, but it gets rid of some things with the old Bulba. But Unalesca is now out of this game, right? Like, she's done. Unless you hackathon one of your own backups.
She hit the showers.
Yeah, she's taking a break right now.
Taking the knee.
Astroprotoflorian was actually my spoiler. Over on Ready Check Radio, by the way, follow. We do Final Fantasy stuff.
Follow
podcast
on the
there. Love you. Ready Check Radio. Yeah, I guess you're right, Ninja. Unalesca is only out until Unai hits the board again and frees up the spot.
Good point.
All right, so Astroprotoflorian on entry, DeShawn has the option of 2 auto abilities here, both costing 2 Earth. 2 Earth to get rid of a forward, 2 Earth to get rid of a backup, 2 different auto abilities, and looks like DeShawn's opting for both.
It does create a ton of tempo there.
Yeah, it's just so expensive, and Mohammad has a full grip. I have to believe he has an answer for this.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's going to get to cancel 1. I would imagine that he's going to cancel the forward target.
Yeah.
He's got. I would imagine he's stopping the forward target.
Yeah.
At 5 backups here, your colors are totally fixed with Tyro. I have a feeling he's going to save the forward.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, the big thing that's holding back DeShawn is that the
Oh, he saved. Wow. Okay, he saved the backup.
Interesting.
Oh, yep. Now he did do the 5K ping. He did do the 5K ping. It also would have helped if we would have known DeShawn's targets too.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's any other ping there. I wonder if he just has another Warrior of Light.
Oh, you just do it on the way out because you can.
Yeah, do it.
There's the scaly boy.
There's a scaly boy. Our good friend, Mr.
I
Toad.
do believe that last turn, however, cost DeShawn his entire hand.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal right now for him. I wonder if he had another like Warrior of Light in his hand, which kind of
No, or he has a Kusith. It's easily grabbed
yeah,
back.
That's fair. He could have.
It's easily grabbed back. There's 3. There's a 3rd point of damage. 9K forward. Looks like, judging by the legs, Preesh. I'm having to identify everybody.
Examine each card just by leg features.
2 to 2.
2 to 2 on leg recognition there, my friend.
What also is kind of really bad for DeShawn in this position is in the absence of a really beast top deck, Porum is going to get to 3 counters.
True.
There's just
yeah. Someone's a feet. We have feet gamers. Chad
now accusing me of being a feet guy. Feels. Can we get a check here? Feels like Mohammed's cast 7 of these.
Yeah.
Feels like Mohammed's cast 7 of these damn things today. Yeah, it's gonna take a heck of a top deck on DeShawn's part to keep Porum from getting to 3. And then unfortunately, once at 3, it's very lethal against this Earth Ice deck.
Yeah.
Just shutting off any forward the minute you try to get value out of a discard Dull Freeze or something like that.
Here's
and
something
Fasoya is going to cripple DeShawn.
It can stop some attacks.
Fasoya is going to cripple DeShawn here, though. Got it. Yeah, here it comes. There we got the Fenrir. Get rid of that Scale Toad.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and bring this Rydia in. The Rydia at 2 counters.
Yeah.
And the best part about that is now Mohammad still has the damn Fasoya. Like, still has it.
Yeah. The Fasoya is still chilling there. It's bad. He knows there's so many threats.
Yeah.
I mean, that Amma on the just protecting the backup was backbreaking. And I'm trying to see here, how many cards in hand does he have right now?
Who, DeShawn?
Yeah, 3.
2. What is it, 3? I thought he was empty-handed and top decking at this point. Yeah, that looks like 2. Oh no, it is 3. You're right.
All right, so that's his one of YRT63.
Yeah, and that's pretty typical. No, chat, there are no Mandragoras in this, or Mandys.
No Mandragoras in here.
No Mandys in either deck.
No Manny Pennies.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Rogue will grab the backup. That's right. That's how we got the 3rd card. I gotta favor at this point, though. It's 3 to 2, Mohammed's lead, and I just feel like this absolutely favors Mohammad at the moment. Porum's about to go to 3 counters on the end of Mohammed's turn. DeShawn knows Mohammad has the Fasoya. We don't have a discard engine online on DeShawn's side of the board. Really, the only discard we have right now is top decking a Weiss to get any discard. And even if we do, as soon as that Porum's at 3 counters, fine, I'm going to discard, but you're not dull freezing anything. We don't have a Biblos out being at damage 3 to then get discard engine off of that. Those early plays that really locked Unaleska out of the game hurt. Okay. We do have the Lark. I would assume that this has to be Biblos at the... Yeah, there's Biblos. So we're at damage 3, get a little bit of discard. But again, at the end of this turn for Mohammad, Porum's going to be online.
Yeah.
And so swinging with Byblos might get you the discard, but then it's in response, it's going to be blanked because now it's a forward and you're not going to get the call free.
Interesting that I just thought of. Ready is 2, right? Cost 2. You could Arcanist for 2 and just stop attacking.
I don't think Mohammad cares about attacking right now. Like, I don't. If I'm Mohammad, there are so many ways to get these different things off the board that it's okay, fine. Because eventually DeShawn's gonna be forced into a position where you need the CP. You can't keep open the Arcanist and keep an Ice CP and 1 CP of other.
It is a very mana hungry kind of card, and when you're already on a deficit because you were essentially at 3 cards at the time, where Mohammad is just getting tons of value off of all this stuff, it might be too much for him to just keep going with. I also love how this game is very, very grindy, very, It
is, and they're down to, little less than 6 minutes to figure this out and settle it amongst themselves.
Yeah.
All right, Mohammad going board dull, 5, and there it is. There's the Fusoya. This is going to wreck some things. I mean, it is going to give DeShawn a little more resources next turn, because one of these things is going to be a bounce. Fusoya getting multiple abilities here for newer players because of how it was paid for. The more colors you can pay for, the more the list of options you're going to get to pick.
Stuff and things.
There's going to be a bounce. There's going to be a draw on Mohammed's side. There's going to be a summon rescue. Like, there's a lot that's going to happen here.
It's been really interesting how this game has played out. We've had a lot of games where, there are many decks that we've seen that has run off of like fumes and gotten there. This game, it's all been about CP resources. Like, it's Mohammad has had tons of card selection, tons of more cards. Like, we were talking early about the early Shankoto play where it really kind of depleted into DeShawn's actual value. And now he's kind of at this point when we were talking about the Arcanist, how, he needs a lot of CP to keep that going, where Mohammad has had lots of cards to generate mana, where, DeShawn hasn't been as lucky.
Well, I assume that the CP colors, again, we don't have markers for some of the indicators here, but I'm assuming that it was paid for with 4 different colors, other than water. And so that's going to trigger everything, right?
Yeah.
Mohammad draws a card. He's going to rescue a summon from the break zone. He's going to bounce something, any character, back to DeShawn's hand. And he's going to put a forward on the top of its owner's deck. By the way, in a pinch, that can even put yours there, too. So.
Yeah, he put his Fusoya on top.
Rydia should be at 4.
Yeah.
Fusoya category counts. Looks like they remembered to roll Porum, but they did not remember to roll Rydia.
Yeah, the Rydia should be at 4. The Porum, I'm sorry.
No, the Rydia.
Yeah, the Rydia. Definitely been a very back and forth game.
I've got the message into the team,
so
hopefully we can correct that.
He's just playing.
DeShawn just kind of looking at this like,
oh yeah.
Well, the best way to solve these two little bodies, well, one of them's a little body, the other one isn't so little anymore, is to just start swinging into it, right? Fusoya hitting damage, putting Mohammad at 4, coming in with the Roble, putting Mohammad at 5, approaching time.
Yeah, we're getting close to time. We're almost at the 2-minute mark. No. Okay, so it looks like he's triggering Porn's ability here.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
No,
You
you
shut
gotta
some things
slow
off.
down the onslaught.
looks like the team has swoop in. Yep, there we go.
The hardcore are on the case.
Team on it.
They've solved the mystery here.
Collector's cash, baller move.
Yeah. Shout outs to those guys. They've been
absolutely
crushing it.
And Rochelle and the entire Square
And
Enix
the whole
team.
squad. The whole squad.
Just a good event so far here. We are quickly approaching time. As somebody that has played this this deck competitively for this season so far, I just feel for DeShawn.
Yeah.
Right? You had pretty much the perfect opening, the exact way your deck wanted to go. Maybe you argue a Unalesca versus an Arcanist on turn 1 could have been better. But you got everything online by turn 3, and then to just have it torn apart through just one simple, hey, put that Unalesca back. And then here's 2 forwards that you have to deal with right now.
Yeah.
That feels bad. It feels bad.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Paying 5 for the Shadow Lord. Just checking some job names here. Let's see.
Let's see.
We're going to free cast the Kusith off Rydia before she leaves and take the Warrior of Light.
Yeah.
Got plenty of bodies. I mean, that's DeShawn's win con. Has been for the last few turns, right? Just out-body you.
Yeah. I have stuff. You have one guy. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm not going to out-resource you anymore. That time has come and gone.
Here's something interesting, guys. We are in time.
Yep.
So it's going to be, it's going to be one of those things where DeShawn has to win the game here.
Well, and this is Mohammad. Mohammad would be turn 0.
Yeah.
At the moment. Here comes Warrior of Light.
Warrior of Light, draw a card.
The Arcanist,
navigate the win.
The Arcanist, I believe, had Fusoya punch it in the mouth.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I would have done.
Yeah. So this is what I was saying about the Arcanist. It's doing work.
No, it's not. That's the point. It's not there to do it. Yeah. Fusoya punched that thing in the mouth.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No.
Punched in the mouth. That's right. Okay. Don't mind me, guys.
Yeah, it didn't even get to do work. All right, so looks like Mohammad going to combat. That looked like a little, hey, this is brave, I'm attacking motion. DeShawn taking the damage. Hey, there's another Arcanist. Actually, you do not want to draw that card, so that seems okay.
That seems all right.
Del 3, just kind of, I have so many options. What should I do?
Things. What do I do? All the things. Oh, man.
DeShawn's just looking at it like, yeah, you got, oh, here comes Cecil.
Oh, man.
Free play of Iridia. Put some counters. Now, this is almost attrition on DeShawn's side, right? And because it was Cap 4, we get an activate off of the Rydia entering from Cecil's ability.
Sure.
Now it's I can't even dull and freeze or dull these things to get them out of the way without also having to pay 2.
Yeah.
This really starts to just kind of lock this down. You have a lot of bodies, yes, but now I have bigger bodies who can blank your bodies. And oof.
Yeah, there's a lot of protection here, a lot of free summons, a lot of blanking abilities. And I think a big thing now is that Warrior of Light has first strike, right?
What are we here? The Warrior of Light? Yes. Yeah. Warrior of Light
that's huge right now, especially in time. Because if you were to do a party attack, he's essentially stopping and blocking down the party attacks here.
Yeah, this is not an ideal situation. Unfortunately, DeShawn kind of got out-muscled on some key cards very early in this game that turned this into okay, your deck's not going to do what you want it to do. You're going to have to find another way to win.
You gotta do it.
Oh, and I think one of those cards just drawn was a Nero, if I saw it right.
Ooh,
So
really?
Robal's going to get a backup. It looks like we have a Nero in hand for another backup. Don't quote me yet, but I think that's what it was. And if it is, it makes me want to cry for DeShawn.
Oh, man.
So DeShawn's turn here would represent turn 1.
Yeah.
Sean just kind of like looking at this. It's the same thing I'd be doing, right? Looking at this board going,
Yeah, I know.
hate
is
this
like the
game
most
sometimes.
frustrating. Yeah. It's a little rage in here. I'd be like,
like you just have, I got a lot of bodies, but damn, they just don't do enough.
They don't do enough. That's like the rough part.
And that Unileska early, and then hey, here's Unai and Warrior of Light. Do your best.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's,
what a
it's,
what a backbreaking sequence right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the people in chat mentioned it. It's one of those grindy decks that you just.
Yeah, it definitely can be. Yeah. All right, so we're down 2. We're gonna get the Unileska down. I mean, if you don't have anything else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Control Alt. I kind of feel the same way, and I kind of called that when it was pulled out that this is gonna be expensive. This was gonna be expensive pulling out Bulbasaur. But that's the drawback, right? When you don't draw and you are immediately under threat, you kind of you play into what you have.
You have to play what you have.
I honestly thought the grab was going to be Scale Toad for that, by the way. Here comes another Fenrir.
Fenrir. That's really big.
We're going to get rid of Nero and Giblos. Yeah. Yep. Oh. All right, so this represents turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which means DeShawn's turn will be the final turn in a 5-4 game that's gone to time.
Yeah, this is really, really unfortunate. This is like... I mean, the Warrior of Light can definitely get in easily. I'm trying to see what does Mohammad do here?
Yeah, I mean, arguably, chat's right. At the end of DeShawn's turn, we could have seen a Porum trigger into a 5k damage off of a Warrior of Light and get somebody off the board. But at turn 2, I think, Mohammed's kind of looking at the board just saying, I have the board state. I don't know if I can push the damage.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, there probably should be one less forward on the board on DeShawn's side at this point.
Yeah. I also know when you get in the nitty gritty of this and you go into time and you know that, having your winning in, really.
Oh my gosh, another
Oh my
Fenrir.
God. Jeez. Oh. Sheesh.
All right. It's just like, all right, hold the line, Robo.
Hold the line. Hold the phone, y'all.
It really doesn't matter, right? Because
Yeah.
Porum's going to shrink it. But
Oh, yeah.
and then here comes Rydia.
Here comes the T.
Oh, okay. We got Zalera to stop it.
Zalera.
That shuts down Lethal, doesn't it? Oh, no, it doesn't. DeShawn would still need one more answer. Oh, his Warrior of Light already swung.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
shut
blocked.
down Lethal. That one drop Zalera that we talked about, like, hey, it's not really run.
It's not a real part of this matchup. Oh, hold the phone.
So this is turn 3. Mohammed's done. That was the play. Now it's gonna be up to DeShawn here, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, Mohammad has board state. Obviously, DeShawn dies next turn if we were still in time.
Yeah.
Technically, DeShawn and Mohammad could go to a double loss here, but we'll have to see what happened. There is no tie in Final Fantasy TCG. There is no draw. It all goes to a double loss unless a decision is made. No time extension or anything was given.
Yeah.
So if somebody could notify us on the final result of that, how that played out there. It would be very gentlemanly of DeShawn to just say, hey, you got it. But he's under no obligation to do so, right?
Exactly.
So we'll have to stay tuned on how that one settled out, whether it was a double loss or if DeShawn kind of just said, you have this. If there was one more turn, I'd be dead. And what a great game that was decided within like the first 4 or 5 turns, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of those kinds of games where like every decision really, really mattered. It was a very back and forth, just trying to like, I think the resource management was a big overall kind of determination for that game. It makes you wonder if there was a different chain of events. I knew chat was mentioning there was like there was something missed in regards to like a combo that with
I mean at the end of DeShawn's turn 1 there, when Mohammad goes into turn 2, he should pour him to reduce somebody to 1000 power and then ping with the Warrior of Light. Now you could argue that maybe Mohammad was worried about a response that puts him in a compromised position at the end of turn, not knowing what was in DeShawn's hand. But I still think you go for it knowing this is my last turn. I think I can put you on 7 and not have to worry about a turn 3 or a potential double loss. But it was kind of missed. We're waiting for final confirmation.
We are waiting at the edge of our seats, just like you are, guys. Like,
chat, go ahead.
No, after you. Beauty before.
Some in chat are asking about the whole double loss scenario. Obviously, DeShawn is under no obligation to concede the match, nor is Mohammad once it goes to turn 3. You don't have to. You could both take it to a double loss. What generally happens, though, at that point is that both players get screwed. Now, at the end of the day, it probably isn't a huge deal for either of these players. They are in the top 9 of what is going to be a 2-more round Swiss into a top 32. So in most likelihood, both of these players are safe anyway. For all intents and purposes, unless something really goofy happens.
Yeah.
But in a situation like that where you see if this game was 1 turn longer, I'm dead, it might actually benefit me more to concede to Mohammad, thus putting one of my losses on a player that is now 5-0.
Well,
got some deck lists coming in. Let's take a look. Haruza is baby.
Let's go.
On Dragoons.
There was a need for speed in here.
On Dragoons. Speaking of some hastiness. Oh, this one's
it's very sideways.
It's very sideways. Okay, so this could be interesting too.
Here. It's got a little gangster lean here.
It definitely does. So we got a Dragoon matchup, and then on Thomas's side of the board, we've got a little bit of fun here. We've got Garnet, we've got Bosch, we've got Ferris, Opus 18, Sarah, Kryl, Warrior of Light Wool from Opus 5, Opus 5 Wool, Fasoya, Titan. So we've got a fun matchup here. I love the deck.
I love the Dragoons, man. I was a Dragoon player during the pandemic, and I just love
I'm a warrior.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting how much that deck has evolved from before, where Atlas was like its big engine, but now this set, it got a ton of really good Dragoons.
Yep.
So,
well, this is going to be interesting, I think. The Dragoons on your right, Mateusz, Haruza's, and then Thomas in a Warrior of Light package on the left. This should be interesting.
This should be really interesting. I'm wondering, the Dragoons, they can just go so fast. I'm trying to look at the other list here. Let's see here. So it is running 1 Shantoto. It's running 3 Tyros for burst. Class 4 new rules. Got a 1 of Cosmos. I haven't seen Cosmos in a little bit.
Yeah, I saw Opus 5 Wool, and I was like, oh, I can't remember the last time I said plus 2K Brave. Plus 2K Brave. Brave no EX. Brave no X burst. Brave no X burst.
So we got the Arnea. Is it a goon? Yep, he's going to draw it.
That Aranea was one of our spoilers too on Ready Check Radio. Awesome! I've got to see 2 of the spoilers we've done.
It's
over
like
on Ready Check Radio.
Catered torture stream.
Yeah, it's like Cam is in the background and is like, "What cards has Mike had on
He's
stream?"
actually on the board of directors for
He's
Radio
on the board of directors for RCR. Absolutely. Match 5 ended with a concession. Mohammad took the win. Okay.
All right, so
we're quickly approaching critical mass here on the right. This does kind of make things awkward. I mean, Thomas has plenty of answers to forwards and stuff, and the Warrior of Light deck doesn't necessarily need
and he gets a Titan off the top. Oh God.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. Not great.
I don't like. I mean, you got to play with what you got. But when you're staring towards the back of a bunch of forwards that have haste, playing a Tyro feels not great. Let me see. It looks like he's on 2 Titans. So maybe.
Yeah, he has another one. He is not running what would be awesome in this matchup, right? Is Shadow Lord.
Yeah, Shadow Lord. This is a matchup where Shadow Lord would be a pretty nice card. Okay, so it looks like he's getting
not in this deck though. And it kind of makes sense, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. See, Mr. Logan is now seeing what I was talking about when I said Opus 5 Wool. Yeah.
Who remembers Opus 5? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Hey man, Pepperidge Farm remembers. Who remembers calling +2K no EX? Pepperidge Farms remembers.
The good old days. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Thomas, totally color fixed. we are absolutely fine color wise, but we are certainly going to take some damage this turn. Oh look, there's Dragoons in Mateusz's hand.
Oh man, what shocker! Dragoon deck having Dragoons in hand. What's going on here?
Let's ditch the Aranea Dull 1 and play Ricard.
There we go. Get a little Ricard action here.
Let's take a peek at some top cards.
Let's take a look.
Look at that. We got the Titus in there. That's gonna have to stay there. Gonna have to be a lightning card, so Titus is gonna get to just sit this one out for a minute.
Yeah, he's gonna take a seat on the bench.
On Ricard's reveal, you're only able to take a lightning card. Merrill, a fine target for that one, ironically.
Not
bad. Yeah. Merrill, totally illegal target for a Ricard. If you know, you know. All right, let's put these back and see where we go here. Still at 1 damage. Now we're going to start swinging.
It's vroom time.
Oh, okay. Let's take some abilities away and draw a card.
There we go.
This is another one of those two. Like, I love seeing Dragoons doing well here, but this is another very, like kind of all in, all out, right? Yeah. I'm going to try and kill you in like 4 to 5 turns, ideally. And if I don't, I'm probably going to lose.
I mean, that's the thing, though. In these best-of-1 formats, sometimes decks aren't ready for it, right? It's the same thing with a 13 deck. Like, sometimes you're just ready to go, and they're just not ready, and then you just lose.
Yeah, so I love the Dragoons deck, and I've actually seen the Dragoons at basically every event. But it's nice seeing them now be in a 4-1 spot. That's where you typically don't see them. And so I do like seeing Mateusz kind of piloting this to a 4-1.
Thomas right now is debating whether he plays Shantoto here. It looks like the way he's positioning his cards. I wonder if he has a Shantoto in hand.
Well, if Mateusz seems to only have 1 card in hand. So we're going to take Bosch, take a point of damage to go get ourselves an Earth or Fire character. Thomas wanting to see the break zone first. Let me see. Yeah, Goons came in 2nd in Australia. Yeah, Australia's like their coast Materia Cup was like very Wild West when you looked at the deck list. You're like, what is going on down there?
What is going on? What are these new things?
All right, so Bosch gonna grab us. We took the damage, so we're at 3, which might be relevant a little later.
Yeah.
Going and getting an Earth or a Fire character. Remember when you had to run Dragoons in lightning water just to even make it remotely workable?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Just to make the deck work. It was like a broken car that you just put a little bit, like you put one of those donuts on your car just to get it moving. It doesn't exactly keep the car safe, but it makes it run.
So we take the Kate Sith off the Bosch search. I wonder if there's something in the break zone Thomas wants to grab here. Yeah, there was a time, Adam, where it was Lightning Wind, yeah. All right, so Ferris, now things are going to get pingy.
Yeah.
So Ferris is going to deal 1K to all the forwards on the board, and then all Warrior of Lights that take damage will get to ping for 3K. Right now, that's just Ferris on the board.
There's the Cryle.
So we're going to get Aranea off the board. Take the Cryo to hand. Ferris could represent some problems here. I would imagine that Thomas is going to hand out and grab a wool, a Warrior of Light of some type from the break zone. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
I didn't see if he had the 4-element one in there or not, which
I
pretty much makes next turn, provided Mateusz doesn't do something here, a really, really bad turn for Mateusz. Because Thomas is going to come in, the Ferris will be able to attack, triggering the 1 and 3K damage pings across the boards and at targeted forwards for the 3K pings. You got the Warrior of Light with haste, able to deal 5K, whether you want to tack that onto a Dragoon on the field to finish somebody off, or tag one of your own Warrior of Lights to start pinging things in extra ways. There's so many ways to play it depending on what Thomas draws and what Mateusz can do right here. But the options are all in Thomas's favor right now.
Yeah. I think Mateusz's main goal is he needs to get him dead soon. But I think he has a lot of... That Dragoon is real big. Real big. Another first.
Another Cuculane.
That's not bad. Not bad.
Now, Mateusz does have Freya. So we could potentially see Cherry Blossom helping sort some things out.
Yeah.
But even then, Cherry Blossom, I believe, is straight damage, right? Which is going to cause those Warriors of Light or the Ferris to go off. Right now, not so bad. But later.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah, Cherry Blossom. Yeah, 2K damage to all the forwards opponent controls. I couldn't remember if it was damage or a power loss.
No, it's from damage. Now, the thing is, too, because you see 2 Cuculanes in the bin, he got a lot of value off of him attacking. So that can sometimes really determine a lot of games just because you just have that card selection.
Yeah, he doesn't have the CP for the special. That's why I was saying we could potentially see it later. Yeah, we weren't going to see it that turn.
There we are. So free wall.
And now things get sticky.
Yeah, get a little sticky here. That thing is big, it has first strike, and it will hit you.
Well, more importantly, right now, its job is Warrior of Light.
Yes.
And that's the biggie right now.
Yeah.
That's the biggie, because now Ferris is going to do 1K to the board on swing, which means that Thomas is going to get at least, pending another Warrior of Light being played here, at least 2 3K pings off of Ferris's ability when the Warriors of Light take the damage. Now we see Sarah come in.
Man, this is gross. Yeah, that's bad. I think the wheels have stopped. We got some traffic on the highway, bumper to bumper.
Yeah, we're gonna fight here. we are definitely gonna fight here.
Thomas is like, is that okay? How do you feel about that?
Now, chat, I didn't see it because I was checking deck lists. Did you say that Mateusz had Alice in hand and mulligan? That can't be right?
No way.
No.
You don't say no to that. Let's draw 3 cards a turn. I would have kept it. I don't know. Oh, he molded. That's wild. I don't know. I didn't see it. I did not see it at all.
Mateusz taking a 2nd point of damage, the Ricard, and the first one was or Dragoon, sorry, on the damage too. And the first one was the 6-drop Feel Thanos backup, which is an interesting choice in this deck.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Yeah. Sarah Mobius with Wool triggers Ferris. Yep. Anything you could do to just pass the damage around to some Warrior of Lights. That's nutty. There.
That is pretty utter butters.
He got away. Ooh, I don't know what else was in that hand that makes you go, I can't keep this.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have. I mean, you just gain that value that Thomas has already gained from just doing all that stuff. I would have kept it. But anyway,
Control Alt. No, it Warrior of Light does take damage. First strike doesn't matter. You're just saying these two forwards deal damage to each other based on their power, not they go to combat and fight.
Yeah.
In which case, in combat, first strike, would stop Warrior of Light from taking damage. But in Sarah's ability, they just both punch each other in the face.
Ooh. Yeah.
So we've got Freya down.
Not that bad right now.
We've got the Freya down 7 rounds today.
7 rounds, Matt. 7.
Like, Cherry Blossom doesn't feel great here. I mean, it clears things, but it costs you everything.
Yeah, it does cost you everything.
You're on 2 backups, and you're staring down Thomas, who has 4 backups and almost a full grip.
Usually with Cherry, I mean, he could potentially use it defensively. You know what I mean? To,
and he has to do it twice, right? Yeah, because it has to be 8/8.
Mm-hmm.
No wool ping on the end of that turn. Interesting. No wool ping on Freya at the end of the turn.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting to navigate. I know Freya can be like a time bomb, and I think Thomas is a little afraid to kind of go in there, but I think he's in a very commanding position right now. He just has multiple guys. It's like you said, like wasting all your resources to double Cherry Blossom doesn't really exactly. I mean, then he has nothing, right?
And honestly, the time for that has come and gone.
Yeah.
If you were able to do it previously, once the 4-drop Warrior of Light at 10k hit the board, things got crazy.
You got a little sticky.
All right, so here's Ferris with a bunch of pings. There's a Cherry Blossom.
There's a Cherry Blossom defensively.
So this is going to throw damage everywhere, which is going to throw damage everywhere back. But Thomas still comes out ahead because you can't double Cherry Blossom.
You can't double. There's a goon.
The time for the Cherry Blossom came and went.
Yeah. It's dead, Jim.
And I just feel like this is GG at this point.
This
like I can't.
I don't know how you get through this.
I'm looking at the deck list, and there's nothing you can do about this at this point. You can't reach the critical mass that you need.
For sure.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the VOD chat.
Yeah, I will too. And that kind of hurts my head a little. I played Dragoons for a very long time. Like you almost hardball for Atlas.
I have to see what else, if I can, what was in that hand that would have said I can't keep Alice.
Must have been real bad. Must have been real. And like I feel like a lot of times you have the hand. It really, like, even if the hand's not great, you just draw into everything, right?
Yeah, and Mateusz is a good player, and obviously he's been piloting Dragoons. You know how important Alice is to the deck. Like, there's no mystery about that. You have to be looking at 4 other cards that just make it almost prohibitive to play Alice. Like, are you looking at Alice and 2 light cards? You know, and so, hey, I'm going to have to give up all 3 of my non-light cards after my draw to play Alice and then hope for the best. What happened? Or I'm hoping it wasn't Alice. Like, I'm hoping it's just somebody thought it looked like Alice. I don't know.
Looked like Alice. They saw a similar old man that was on there.
Yeah, Kronos, even, you're right. Like, even then, it's like...
I just windmill slam it. Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
I might be stuck with a Titus in hand, but I'm going to have Alice out. That's probably going to get me 1 card. And then hopefully get me a 3rd card every turn from there on out. going to 5 here off of Warrior Light Swing. Yeah, this late in the game, and Thomas is like, I'll just put out this Moogle. Yeah, he did Cherry Blossom last turn. Yeah, in Thomas's combat step.
Yeah, this is. I mean, as a dragon, I used to play Dragoons, and this is where I would go outside for a little bit of air because I think that I think it's the tail of the tape. Like this is not easy to come back from.
Like you always love being in that position, right? Though, where it's like, yeah, it's 5-4, we're late game, and you know what? How do I get down to under 5 or under 6 cards here? We just play a Moogle. We just play a Moogle. Control saying they checked the VOD, has a 5-drop card that looked like, Alice, not Atlas. Alice now in hand, yeah. Oh, there it is. He had 2 Odin X's also.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
the X's are there for popping, but I don't think you look at those and go, I'd rather have the X's in my deck. I'm going to put this back.
I just slammed the card that allows me to draw 3 cards a turn. All right, so he's reviving a Dragoon. Does he have a miss?
All right, we got the big body Dragoon who is not a big body Dragoon right now.
He's a little small boy. He needs a couple days at the gym, We got a Swole Wall on the left side, and we got a Wimpy Goon on the right.
And I think this is like all she wrote, right?
Yeah.
Mateusz has no hand, just chucking bodies out there to try and hopefully, maybe, possibly get another turn and take a look at the top 2 cards of the deck. But Thomas has 7 cards in hand. Like, this is... Can you remove one? Cool, game over.
Yeah. I think those Kuka lanes were really important in that because not only did it slow the onslaught of attacks, but it gave him Thomas a lot of just extra cards to be able to do all the things that he needed. Like, there's sometimes,
all right, so there's a Kuka lane to make this guy really tiny. So now Warrior of Light can declare an attack and then dull and
he's
pop.
He's just a boy.
Yeah.
It's just
so now you don't even really need anything in hand to mop this up anymore. Warrior of Light swings, goes dull, cracks that small Dragoon with no buff with 5k. You've got 1 blocker and 3 attackers. No hand. This game's over. I'm not really sure what we're thinking about here.
That's all, folks.
I mean, maybe you're worried about 1 potential X-Burst for the forward. That's what's going on.
I guess because you don't know the list up front, it kind of makes...
let's just get him out of here.
Yeah,
and make sure.
Just take a seat. Just take a seat right there.
Yeah, I mean, you got 1 shot in an X-Burst, and if Mateusz pops the X-Burst, then you have to wait till next turn to win, and it didn't matter anyway. Hey, there's another Alice. Good game on Thomas's side there. Unfortunately, Dragoons just couldn't get it done.
Just take a seat.
Couldn't get it done. 4-2, though, still in it. It'll be interesting to see where that Dragoon deck finishes up. It has 1 more round to go, and still, again, with the top 32, the door is wide open for a bunch of the decks that we're seeing on stream to still just sneak in there. Even at a 4-3 on the high side, your odds are pretty friendly. So
Batch didn't die. Doesn't that 1 water backup pump it by 2k? That's the tap ability it had.
Yeah, that's what Thomas was doing ahead of time. Was
it by 2. So, it's that was definitely a very different game compared to what we were. We went from the grinder kind of games were all just neck, where that one was very, very fast. It's a complete different. It's like stepping into the heater or the freezer and then walking into an oven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we're going to give chat a chance here because we had to go straight from round 4 or from round 5 into round 6. We do want to make sure everybody's getting up, stretching your legs, and all that fun stuff. So we're going to take a few minutes. There's about 8 minutes left in the round, and then we'll be headed into the final round here of day 1, Collector's Cash Materia Cup. We'll set you all up for the day 2 coverage, tell you who's giving you that commentary. We'll get you all set up after the break. So stretch your legs, refill your drinks, go to the bathroom, smoke them if you got them. We'll be right back.
For the final round.
Current meta. That Emperor is a hell of a tech.
Shutting
down actions and specials. All right,
Nothing
so here we
like
go.
Salt in the sauce with some secret sauce, you know?
Yes, yeah. We already. Hey, look, there's 2 samurais. Imagine that.
Yeah.
We're already 2 samurais.
Yeah,
yes, Kelly Thatcher. Yes, we are on round 7.
Have samurais in there. Did you, Mike?
That was kind of spooky. All right, so we're gonna play Kryl on Kelly's side, getting rid of a Kusith and 4-drop Warrior of Light. So let's take the Kusith back. All right. To exactly what both decks want to do. Off to good start here.
Slam the Tenzin right here, calling it.
If you have it, you have to, right?
You got to do it to him, boys. You got to do it to him.
There it is. Yeah, there's the Tenzin.
Oh yeah,
it's one of those.
Beautiful.
Gotta get it off the board now. And then even off the board, we already have targets in the break zone for it. So even getting rid of it doesn't feel great.
Beautiful.
Even getting rid of it doesn't feel great, but you still have to do it.
Got to do it sometimes.
Okay, so Kelly holding, just looks like he drew a Shantoto there. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be held for a couple of turns, just in case Tyler gets a little rambunctious.
Mm-hmm.
Shantoto, of course, entering the field and clearing both boards of all forwards and removing them from game is probably the more important piece there.
Yeah.
They don't go to the break zone.
Now, I'm looking at Thatcher's deck, and I'm kind of looking for singular removal here.
Well, that'll do it.
Yep, that's clean.
That's clean, right? We're gonna bounce a forward and a backup to Tyler's hand, which totally gets around Tenzen's break zone entry of a free grab.
Call him Kelly clean there.
It doesn't feel terribly great, right? That's a 6 spend into a deck that can splash forwards.
Like we were talking about Dragoons with the Atlas, right? Like you let that thing on the board, it will take over the game, you know? So let's see how he responds to that. Ooh.
So, yes, technically that is a Tenzen trigger. Tenzen is when leaves the field, not break zone.
Leaves the field.
And he's got a 4 cost in there and a 4. Okay, so he didn't have a valid target. Okay, we're good.
Well, yeah, I see the 1 samurai forward in there. The 3 cost.
No, yeah, but that was not there yet.
Oh, it wasn't there.
Yeah. That was not there yet. So we're safe. We're safe. No problem.
Coast is clear.
No problem. You like Kelly, but you also like Samurai, so Matchless Glory, totally fine with whoever wins. Yeah, Kelly does already have the Nats invite from... So there are going to be invites rolling down if Kelly manages to win this match and swim his way through the top cut tomorrow. Now we're looking at an Unai and a Kryl and a Samurai versus a Tenzen.
Nothing like some good old roll with the money.
Yeah, backups are valid targets, but a 4-cost backup is not.
Yeah.
It has to be a 3-cost.
Think of how wild if it was like 4-cost samurais.
Oh, the card's already gross. Coming in.
So that's a smart attack. I like that. Not only does he get his summon back, he knows he's not blocking with the Tenzin. It's too much value. Just Tenzin existing.
Well, that's not an attack. That's just the...
I thought he was swinging in. My bad.
No. The Unai's ability is a doll to rescue a summon. So that's... you must want to use the summon right now, because the real value of that would be to threaten a 9k blocker on Tyler's turn. Mm-hmm. And when Tyler doesn't swing in Tyler's main 2, dull and rescue the summon. So Kelly must want to use the summon right now.
Yeah. Oh,
Rydia gets a 2-cost counter. And now that Kusith becomes free.
Yeah, it becomes
there we go.
So he gets a free body out of it. That's really smart.
And that free body was Sophie.
Yeah.
So we dull for 1 Earth. I mean, you just truck it out now, right?
You got to throw it out.
Yeah. So a 10k Sophie, Tyler trying to go to end, or Kelly trying to go to end of turn. Tyler takes the damage and Kelly gets a free card.
Oh,
remember, Sophie could play into this big.
This is a big deal. This kind of pumps the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, Sophie is plus 2,000 for every other Earth forward you control, and plus 2,000 for every other water control forward you control. So that Unai is giving Sophie plus 4K. Rydia is giving it another plus 2. And every time Kelly ends the turn with a Sophie at 10,000 power or more, it's automatically going to deal Tyler a point of damage and draw Kelly a card. That's what we call hashtag Value Town.
Value Town. Take me to Value Town, I'm telling you.
Tenzen, speaking of Value Town.
Yeah, we're all about the... Ooh, we have a Hien? Ooh, my God. Oh, I love me some Hien. Because sometimes you just go fast there. It's the medic can handle it.
Yeah, so chat correctly pointing out for maybe newer players out there, Sophie is Final Fantasy doesn't ban or limit cards very often, but Sophie is a limited card due to how strong Sophie was when Sophie was introduced.
Sophie was okay. Come on, it wasn't that. It wasn't.
So that is the singular and only copy of Sophie in Kelly's deck.
Now, I will say sometimes having a one of isn't that fun, but being able, it's so strong, even having one is just great.
So Brave Tenzen coming in after Samurai punches Unai in the face. Kelly just going to truck a weaker Sophie into the Tenzen, and looks like Tyler's just ending turn, get some value. There goes the Cyan. Things are about to get messy on the Samurai side of the board, man. We've got Tenzen, we've got the Samurai, we've got Cyan in hand. Yeah. We're probably setting up on Kelly's side for a Shantoto soon.
Oh, yeah.
A swing with Rydia basically telegraphs that. Tyler reading it exactly the way he should have there and just totally blocking. Shantoto removes all forwards from the board. And let's go ahead and start with round. Let's reset the game at 2 backups and go.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, Tenzen left the field. So Tyler now taking a Samurai backup. Yeah, you can't take both of those. Nice try, Tyler. I saw you try to take
Sorry, Charlie.
Yes, these are both 4-2 players. We're watching bubbles.
We're watching the Bubble Boys.
Win and in, lose, and you are at the mercy of tiebreakers.
You're playing sides tomorrow.
Off to Kelly here. Not exactly the way you want to start, but you've managed to kind of keep... Look at Cam in real time, updating everything on the overlay.
Shout out to Cam.
You chat. Look at that. Just an absolute baller move, throwing that 4 and 2 in there real quick.
Look, I know Cam's on your seat of directors, but I have an offer for him to come on the draw game LLC,
All right, Cyan hits the field. Let's go searching. Let's go digging our deck for a Samurai. Hey, look at that. It's Tenzen. Imagine that.
What's that card do?
I am shocked and amazed by this.
I'm not even sure. I need folks to tell me what that card does.
Let me just dull these two and figure out which two I'm getting rid of. And welcome back, my old friend.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Wow, that's probably what Kelly's thinking right now. Kelly looks like might have some type of response here.
When Kenton and Cyan comes in unanswered, it's very scary. Very, very scary.
Looks like Kelly's going to cast Sildra at the end of Tyler's turn. Go and grab 2 characters, Water or Cat 5, each of a differing cost, to have them pumped, primed, and ready to go in his hand once he accepts the pass.
Oh, yeah.
Princess Sarah and a Moogie. Let's get the Moogies.
Moogale.
Let's resolve Tenzen's end of turn effect. Flip 5. And you know what? Find a Samurai and keep it.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems okay. Tenzen's, I don't know.
Might be saying you spent 6 on that forward. Yeah, but he's netted me about 140 CP.
I heard getting 10 CP a game extra is not bad. It's not bad.
Not bad. Sildra is worse than Sophie these days. I agree.
I agree.
We all know that Sildra is one of those watch cards on the Hobby Japan Square Enix side right now. There's a couple of them, Sildra being one of them. It'll be interesting to see final decisions as the rest of the competitive season shakes out
Oh,
if we
yeah.
see any bans or limitations on some other cards. Sildra, one that a lot of people are watching, and Hobby Japan Square Enix also watching.
So Kelly has 2 cards in hand. I wonder if this is. I'm trying to see how many cards in hand Tyler has. I wonder if this is kind of worth an Ama. Okay.
No.
Yeah, there's probably bigger targets to Ama here.
No, I feel like if you ever Atama Amat, is that what you were talking about? Amatting?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. I don't. If you ever have to Amat a backup, you probably already lost that game.
Yeah, that's probably.
There's unless you're saving yourself from a Shantoto, setting that one aside, right? Because that is a play you probably
It is a
want
real
to do.
thing that you do.
But yeah, we've got
Ooh, look at that spicy meatball!
that.
Yeah, let's go.
We're like, no, we're gonna leave Sarah light.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
just
gonna be
happened
light
there.
today.
If you don't know, so when Sarah enters the field, you have to declare an element, and Sarah gains that element and loses the light element. This is a really, really crazy Amat because it keeps Sarah as light.
Yeah.
So now, and unfortunately, one, his 4-drop Warrior of Light now still needs to be color fixed some other way to be playable. And 2, if Kelly's running any other light cards, which we'll take a look at the deck list in a minute, that shuts them off.
Yeah.
Because Sarah does not give you the ability to play more than one light card at a time. It's not like a Cosmos or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just a light card and it's just stuck on the board. I'm looking at his list right now just to see. Oh man, that's brutal.
I don't know if I like the play, but it's fun to watch.
No, it's you love the play because of him doing it, right? Like I've done that to people sometimes in locals, and they've had other light cards. They were playing Warrior of Light when Refia was a card, and they were like, "Uh-oh, I can't play this card anymore."
So you've got an Earth backup, you've got a Water backup. Shantoto can be your fire or wind. So, maybe throw a Tyro out here and you can still play with the Warrior of Light. But this makes it a little challenging to actually get it online.
It's a little awkward.
Yeah, it definitely is. There are 3 Tyros in deck as well. So it doesn't necessarily throw Warrior of Light out of the entire game, but it does make it a bit more difficult to play. Again, I'm really interested to see if this pays off for Tyler, because I don't think I would have done it, but I'm kind of curious if it pays off. And by the way, Sarah's now dull ability is absolutely useless.
Well, he can make all the light forwards 1K, right?
The light forwards that he can't possibly play until he gets her off the field.
Shh, I don't need to know that. That's some big tech here. Big game thinking.
Did you say you looked at the deck list? Was there any other light forwards in?
No, there's not. I was just trolling. That's okay.
Aww, all right.
Aww.
Like you can see sometimes people teching in the new 4-drop Tidus, right? The 4-drop light Tidus that X bursts.
How
if
crazy.
you have your Princess Sarah Ahmad and you're sitting there with a Tidus in your hand, you're just like, why do I play this game? All right, so Kelly now looking like, let's go ahead and Hecaton this board. That's 8k damage to all forwards, but you can only cast it on your own turn. Nothing to lose there when you don't have forwards. But that was 5 CP.
Isn't that Cyan? Wait, is that the Hecaton chair that removes it from the game, or does it just break it? I'm trying to remember.
No, that's just 8k damage to all forwards. So Cyan dies, but Kelly did not have a follow-up to get Tenzen off the board too. So that was 5 CP to get rid of a Cyan.
I'm telling you, like, having the Tenzen just chill on the board really, it's just giving Tyler so much value. It's so nice to see and refreshing that this Samurai deck is really, like, holding up.
Just going straight to the end of the turn here. Let's get ourselves another Samurai, and we'll reload for next turn. I do think that's going to force Tyler to discard, though. Tyler looks like he's at 6 cards. Looked like he had 5 before the take there on Tenzen.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So we get the discard. No worries. Let's go ahead and get rid of this Samurai backup we're not going to need. Oh, Kelly. Oh, Kelly was thinking about something there on that main two.
Deep in the tank.
It was too late though. You were already resolving Tenzen's end trigger, so it would have been too late for Kelly to respond in any way.
It's just the end of phases, right? You can't respond to just it shifting.
Well, in end phase, you're done. Yeah. Like auto abilities will go on the stack, and they will go in the priority that they should. But you cannot respond in your end phase, unlike other games that you may play. End phase is all watch the auto abilities resolve. Anything that gets triggered by those auto abilities resolves. That's it. You can't add to the stack in end phase.
Exactly.
Let's dull 3. Tyler thinking. Oh, no. 4, 3. No, 4, 3.
3, 4.
Let's just swing with a brave Tenzen. Miss Dragon into the break zone.
Well, that's a good hit to get because if Tenzen dies, it doesn't mitigate all the options it can get. Ooh, he's just putting dudes on the board. He says, "What do you say about this?" Now,
and that's the right play right now. And look at unfortunately Kelly's damage zone. By the way, Asura, Miss Dragon, 3
Emperor gamers.
Yeah, 3 key summons just in the damage zone.
I mean, he did get a science. The idea that he could shuffle his deck is still.
Oh, what a draw! That's
What did he draw? I missed it.
He drew Tyro and 3-drop Hecaton. I mean, that's just like. Oh. And we got a light princess on the board. No. Kelly's got to be looking at that draw going, seriously, Doug?
That's a big...
Seriously? This is what you're going to do? Let me see that break zone. Let me see that break zone.
Tenzen, my boy, is doing some work here today.
No kidding. Oof. We saw Neo Exdeath carry the day earlier today. Looks like we're seeing a Tenzen hold the line and carry things right now. Although this is what, like the 8th Tenzen we've seen? I lost count.
I mean, having one Tenzen is like having 20 Tenzens.
So he's got fire, water from the Moogle. He's got water from Sarah, earth from Kryl, and anything from Shantoto. So technically, if Shantoto's wind, our Warrior of Light is live. Mm-hmm. Our 4-drop, our 4-element Warrior of Light is live. As far as CP production.
Yeah, CP production, yeah. All right, so he's playing the Kusta. What do you get here? Get a new 9? Or Warrior of Light. Yeah. So you were right. You were saying that.
Yep. There it is. That would be using, and we're going to Ahmad that trigger.
Ooh.
So keep those backups down and forget your free card.
Not today. OSS. So this is the last round of Swiss. Top 32 will be tomorrow.
Yeah, don't miss that. Don't miss that. Going to be some great commentary, too, from Brendan Bestard and TCG Tacos.
Mr. David Melendez.
Mr. Dave from TCG Taco.
Mr. Taco himself.
All right, so now you got, if you're Tyler, you got some free pokes with a Brave Tenzen. Now you've got to do something about Warrior of Light. But, hey, I hear Cyan and a bunch of Samurais deals effectively with
It's not that great.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's an okay card.
It's lukewarm. It's barely servable.
It's an okay card, so I've heard.
It's aight. As the Philly kids would say, it's aight.
Oh, and then okay. Now things are getting a little crazy here. I think Tyler's just showing off.
Yeah.
At this point. So we got a party attack. That way we can
go on the wall.
Yeah, so the reason
my God.
Yeah, the party attack there is kind of nutty, right? Because it triggers Cyan's automatic damage ability twice. 2 samurais are attacking, a ton of damage because you have a ton of samurais every time a samurai attacks is going out. And so party attacking puts all of that damage on the stack. Absolutely nukes the Warrior of Light. The best we could do is peg something for 5k on the way out, which is what Kelly did.
Gross.
That's it. Samurais wins the day. Tyler's turning into an empty board.
Let's go.
GG. So that puts Tyler 5-2, winning in, baby. Tyler is in, no question. It is a top 32 for the Collector's Cash Materia Cup here. 5-2 will absolutely get you there. 4-3 on Kelly's side. You're at the mercy of tie breaks at this point. Still favorable. You were going into the last round 4-2, so you were on the higher end of that 4-2 bracket, but not necessarily a guarantee into the top 32. Gabe, we have seen Samurai's tribal deck. We have seen the Warrior of Light. We have seen Earth Water summons on the backs of Rydia and Porum. We have seen Cat 13 go 50-50 on the stream, right? Win one, lose one. We have seen Neo Egg's Death get Bahammated and then tightened in response and said, hey, not only does this live, but because you had the audacity to target it, go ahead and get rid of an extra character this turn. It has been a hell of a day.
Still mattering 5 years later.
It has been a hell of a day here through 7 rounds of the Collector's Cash Materia Cup. Again, can't say enough what a great job the Collector's Cash team has done. Absolutely a tremendous event. Great stream. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with us. I'm Mike Byrne. Obviously, you can follow me right there at the bottom. It's RC Radio. We do a bunch of streams and podcasts, some of which involve Final Fantasy TCG, and we do stream locals. Gabe, they can follow you all over the place too,
and just,
right?
My Twitter tag is on the Dragoons. I do a lot of variety content, concentrating on TCG stuff. I've done some Final Fantasy stuff. I've done some other card game stuff. I do board games. I do other Snap stuff. But I had such a good time with you, man. It's good that the PA boy came. We had such good energy. And shout outs to the crew at Collector's Catch. That was so smooth.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Cam, the quiet ninja warrior in the background. He's been just straight crushing.
Yeah, Cam, kudos to Cam with the overlays and everything going on. The great Cam film noir camera shot in between that really made you feel like you were there. The music, just an awesome time. A great time to be a Final Fantasy TCG player with a competitive season back. But
competitive is back, y'all.
We're not quite done yet, my dudes.
We have a little Salt Bay pinch into the world.
We're going to take a little break. We got like 10 minutes or so left in the round. But then we'll wait and we'll bring you the top 32, talk about some of the people that we see on the list there. Then we will part ways and make way for the crew coming in tomorrow, Dave and Brandon, to commentate the top 32 cut. Again, kudos to Rochelle and the Square Enix team on a wonderful event. Just a great time. We'll see you.
Shout outs to chat. Shout outs to everybody coming and hanging out.
I mean, you spend time with us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Your time is the most valuable thing you have.
Time with me, you know what I mean? You guys have been hanging out way more.
Well, they said, "Hey, Mike, do you want to do this?" And I said, "Who's going to be the other guy?" And they were like, "Gabe." And I was like, "I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know
about that guy."
Yeah, we'll see you in about 10 minutes. We'll go through the top 32 once everything's there, and then we'll call it a day. So get up, stretch your legs, refill your drinks, go to the bathroom, smoke them if you got them. We'll be right back. What a day.
What a day. Transition. I'm telling you. I had to take the shirt off because I was just sweating with all the excitement, you know?
So right now, chat, they are announcing the top 32 in the room. So to have their celebratory moment and, being happy about making it or sad about not making it, we will have the list in just a few minutes to show you who will be playing tomorrow in the top 32 cut here from Collector's Cash Materia Cup. But what an event. Just a baller crew behind the scenes and wonderful. Like no repairings, like just boom, through the day. Next round. Yeah. So we're awaiting the lists. We'll give you the top 32. Remember, that is the store decided to do top 32. So there will be quite a few games for Dave from TCG Tacos and
get a
Brandon
lot of
to commentate.
Action tomorrow. It's going to be a good one.
Gabe, I got to say, man, it is, obviously we're friends behind the scenes too, have been for years
have we met
now.
Before? I don't know.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you. I'm so glad we got to do this paired up with each other. It's been a fun event. We saw some neat things. I've never seen a Princess Sarah modded, and boy, did it pay off, right? Like it's solid Warrior of Light.
Until you've seen a Princess Sarah modded.
Yeah, stick you with that light backup, and now Warrior of Light is 5 turns late. 5 turns late. Gabe, why did Gabe change?
Because I was excited to see you. I got impressions. What are you doing later?
What is this FF10-2? He has a whole new job now.
No, I have a new job now. I've been hired by a new role. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun working with you, Mike. It's so nice to see you again. It's so nice to be around all the people in community. And honestly, we've seen some great games. Collector's Cat does such a great job. It's been such a smooth working with everybody from the team. And there's more action tomorrow. First of all, you get to see some really high-level commentators. My boy David Melendez from TCG Tacos, and I'm gonna botch it. Brandon Bessler, who top 16 the Florida Material Cup, casting the top 32 of day 2 tomorrow. But I got to tell you guys,
tomorrow's a big day for me. I get to play at locals with my phone, sitting there watching the Materia.
I'm jealous. I'll be watching on my phone at work. So I got to tell you, there's always so much love in this community and so much love in this room every time. Even casting with you, being around everybody, this means the world to me. I want super shout outs to Collector's Catch. They've done a great job here. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have had a lot of fun. Lots of love to the Square Enix team, Rochelle, everybody that's been involved. It's been such a great time.
Yeah, and obviously remember, support your local stores when you can. Buy the product from them. Make sure you may pay an extra $1 or $2 to make sure that you get the purchase, but that's the incentive for them to carry it. If you're in an area where you cannot get product, your local stores just don't carry it for whatever reason, whatever the case may be, head on over to collectorscash.com. They'll be more than happy to hook you up with any of the product for Final Fantasy trading card game that you need.
And this is just our commentary, follow Michael Byrne at RCR Radio. Follow me if you would like. You don't have to, but it's on the Draw Games. Lots of love to you guys. I had a great time.
And this is only the second Materia Cup.
Yeah.
We have 4 more coming here in NA, and that doesn't even remotely count Europe and Australia and Japan. And there's so much. We're a third of the way, a quarter of the way through the season, and then all the store championships. If I see you at a store championship, come up, say hi.
Say hi.
We'll chat. We'll chat. So we should have top 32 any moment here. And Cam's going to pull up the list once they get it, and we'll kind of scroll through it and give you everybody that'll be playing tomorrow. I gotta assume Mohammad made it, so yay.
Yeah. I'm rooting for him. I definitely am glad to see Tyler make it with Samurais, because I just have a soft love for that. Hopefully Steve made it with our 13 deck. I have a big love for that guy. I bet I'll see some other lists. Hunter Nance, seeing him in there is always super nice.
Yeah, and we'll find out if Kelly bubbled in at 4-3 or bubbled out at 4-3. So we'll find that out. Where am I playing next?
News. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot.
Tour championships in Ontario. That's my next one, next weekend.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Next big event is I'm hoping to be in Texas. That is the goal. I will also be one of your judges in North Carolina. And Mike,
that'll be fun.
In North Carolina, right?
I'll be in North Carolina as a player, trying to. If I've punched my ticket to Nats by some miracle by that point, then you will find me on the jankiest of jank.
That's right.
Just running and having some fun. If I haven't, then you'll be finding me just trying to plug away and get my invite there as well. And it'll be nice knowing a judge, right? You'll come over and forget being fair. Just come and give me my rulings. Just give me the rulings.
I mean, I've never met you before, so I don't really know if I want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't even know.
Oops, all Moogles.
Oops, all Moogles. That's for sure.
We'll see how things go. But yeah, I will be at the Carolina one. That'll be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And for anybody who's newer to the game, just to understand, this community has been more like a family than anything. If you only a part of this, hopefully the energy that me and Mike give shows you.
You are a sappy SOB today. You know
I am. That is correct. I see. That's what happened. I had to get on the soppy suit to get soppy. You got to get a little sopper doppers. Nobody knows what that means. We're just laughing and cringing together.
All right. Cam, we got an ETA, my friend, here on top 32. You can't hear Cam, but I can.
We can. See, we're in the Matrix right now, and that's Neo. Neo is trying to communicate with us right now. This is what's happening.
Trying to get you the list so you know if any of your friends have made it or not.
What was something you've seen?
We're going to announce top 116. We're going to go through and show you where
everybody goes to Nats today. Everybody going to Nats.
Everybody finished.
It's like Oprah. You get a Nats invite. You get a Nats invite. And Mike's over here screaming, it's top 32.
That happens. You can't win them all. I should have played better. What was your favorite deck today?
My favorite deck today, it's got to be the Samurai's deck. I have such a soft spot for that. And to see it pull through was super awesome. I love when you see Tenzin just give you all this value and I would say Ahmad again, but it's not the right card. I'm trying to think of the Amaterasu, seeing a good Amaterasu is always near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I like seeing the Earth Ice myself just because that's what I've run at the last 2 events that I've been at. So I like seeing that. I don't like seeing what happened to it, right? Where Unileska didn't get online, and so the rest of the deck didn't get online.
Yeah, just stop doing anything.
We got a little bit of echo. I think I was coming through your speakers there for a second.
Oh, was it?
It seems better now.
The double might action. Double stuff might.
Storm Quasi says bubbled at 117.
Oh, man. See, we already got latest news, guys. You wanted parries. Rochelle, 117th place. I'm telling you guys, get hype.
Get hype. Yeah, I think I was coming through Gabe's speakers there for a second.
My bad.
We're all good. Cam, we got a list. Cam's now muted himself. Cam's left us. Everybody, we're just sitting here.
Moment of silence.
Nobody's coming back with a top 32 list. They just said, go on and talk. And we'll be back. And we're going to watch the camera in the background as they all leave the store and lock up for the night.
You're going to see an empty store. We're actually on the security team. We're making sure we're protecting our sacred collector's catch right now.
Yeah, where is our top 32? Okay, Cam is checking. On the list. Cool. Oh, what a day!
What a day! It's been a good one. That's the thing. It's been a lot of really good games. You got your little mix of different games, right?
I'm going to be honest. I was a little nervous off the top 2. I mean, the top 2 matches, like the Cat 6 deck and the 13 deck that won in those matchups, literally did exactly what it wanted to do, and so we were done 8 minutes into each round, and I was like,
what,
man, as much as I love this game, I don't want to watch a stream of 7 of these matches that are just over in 6 minutes, and there was never a question about who was going to win. And then things really started. It was nice to watch those decks do exactly what they're built to do. No problems there. But then seeing the other ones where there was some really fun moves along the way that, I don't know if all of us would have done. In some cases it panned out, and in some cases it didn't. But it sure as heck was a fun ride to watch.
Yeah, it was. It's not about the destination; it's about the journey, right? We got to see a lot of decks that got to perform super fast, do what they do the best, right?
Yeah.
We got to see some really intricate. We also got a mix of very grindy, kind of intricate games where we said the one game we saw Mohammad and I forget that. I'm blank. It's been a long day, guys. But him playing that 7-cost Shantoto early, and we see how the game unfolded just because of those small little things. And that's one thing that I think that's really awesome about this game. You get both sides of the table now. You can't we saw a Samurai deck get in top 32.
I mean, when we queue up round 5 and there's a Dragoon deck at the table, you're like, what?
What?
What? We're going to see Dragoons. All right, just a few minutes on the final list. We're hearing from Cam and the production team.
We're almost there. Now,
not seeing wind. Yeah, well, I mean, I've got to believe, again, we don't have access to every deck list. We got them for the featured tables. I got to believe wind, ice, wind X, they were probably represented in the room.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll have to wait for final postings to see in the top cut how many of those decks made it. I gotta believe they were in the room.
Oh yeah.
But 13 is just kind of spooky for those, right? It's just a spooky matchup, particularly for the mono wind variant.
I think it's hard for mono wind to be able to keep up with the speed because if you just aren't presenting that same board presence, you're kind of dead, right? Like sometimes you just get caught, essentially without anything to do. And I think one thing with wind, there was probably some representation for sure. But I think that's another big thing when it comes to any type of competitive TCG. Sometimes you go into a tournament and you try to read the room and be like, okay, I think I'm going to see a lot of this, so I'm going to play wind. And then you go and you come in and you're like, oh my God, I read the room wrong. And you're seeing a lot of these fast.
Or everybody read the room right, and everybody's on wind, and now you have slog after slog after slog, and by the end of the day, you're like, I don't even like this game anymore. Deck for sale.
Deck for sale. We'll play checkers outside. You know what I mean? I work doing chess. We'll play some chess right afterwards.
Yeah. So I know some people in chat are going to love not seeing wind at the feature tables. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't, doing its thing along the way and racking up a few wins and probably making top cut as well. I would be stunned if in a top 32 we did not see wind and wind ice at minimum. Wind ice is one of the scariest decks.
It's the
right
boogeyman.
now
It's the boogeyman
against some of the stuff that I've been playing, like the ice lightning and the earth lightning. That 2-drop wind Zidane.
That card's nuts.
Not the wind fire one. I can deal with that one. It's the straight wind one that just starts taking my deck. I'll tell you, in Erie, like round 4 or 5, I ran up against wind ice. They Zidaned me. They took Byblos. Then on the attack of Zidane, they took Weiss. And I was like, and they're actually playable in your deck in a meaningful way, not just an ironic way.
Yeah, not an ironic.
And so they went ahead and played my Weiss and they played my Byblos, and I'm like, everything I have is all frozen, and you have all my good cards. I don't know how to win anymore.
Why?
No, it's definitely a scary matchup. I'd be stunned if we didn't see those types of decks in the top 32, even though we didn't see them on stream today.
Exactly. And a lot of times when you go and you got to see that the stream games are random, the pairings are random. You never know what you're going to see. Sometimes that win list just hits a bunch of like speedy decks and it just keeps up. It doesn't mean that the deck isn't as good as it is, right? Yep. It just means that maybe it had some bad luck, you know what I mean, and got some bad matchups and kind of stuck in the bottom. But that doesn't mean it's not there. You're going to see a lot of that tomorrow. You're going to see a bunch of different spicy decks. Like seeing the summons deck that I saw, in Florida was something I didn't expect to see. I fell in love with that deck, but nobody was like, oh, that's going to be on my radar. That's what I'm going to see at the tournament. Yeah.
And Top Cut's a different beast too, right? Swiss, you're just trying to get that win. Get as many of them as you can, rack them up as early as you can, and if you're going to lose as late as you have to. Lose as late as you possibly can. Tomorrow's a different beast.
It is.
You got to win those best of 3s. You can see a Cat 13 deck surprise enough people that you make a Top Cut. But can you win against the same opponent with the same deck who now knows exactly what you're playing twice and do it 4 to 8 times, depending on how many times the Top Cut is.
Now, I'm not sure how it works, and I know sometimes, a top 32, you're aware of your opponent's deck books, and it's some tournaments, you know what I mean? So that's a big factor, right? Yep. Being able to see your opponent's deck and be like, oh, they're trying to go fast, so I know exactly how I'm going to play this matchup. You know what I mean?
That's why we sometimes see these crazy things go through Swiss and make a Top Cut and get bounced really early, because that's where the rubber meets the road, as they say, right? Mm-hmm. You've got to win twice against this person in 3 games. They know what you're playing. You know what they're playing. You aren't going to surprise them much anymore, besides maybe a tech card here and there that they really didn't spend some time looking at on your deck list. There's no surprises. You got to play. You got to draw the way you need to draw, and your opponent has to just sit there and totally not draw the answers for something they know is coming. That's where it gets it's an entirely different mindset when you sit at the table.
Completely different metagame. When you're going in Swiss, you don't know what you're going to sit next to. You know what I mean? You do your little scopes around the area. You see, ooh, what's that guy doing? Or, what they're playing. And, Then you go to top 32. Everything is public knowledge. Everybody knows what everybody's playing. The lists are open on the Facebook pages, the Discords. You know what you're playing against.
Yeah, so and you've got to do it twice.
You've got to do it.
You've got to win twice every single time to make that next round. 8-Bit says, would have been cool to see Evray/X Storm. Been loving that deck and is different enough from the regular Ice Wind Storm that it's fun to play. I've always liked Ice Wind Storm myself. I've never been a mono wind player. I'm not really a fan of the play style. It's in my bag simply because it's like, hey, Gabe, run this against me. I need to practice. I am a wind ice player. I've always liked that since Baralai was introduced, and it's only gotten better in a few different sets with some additional cards there. So yeah, Evray. As soon as I saw Evray, I was like, oh no, oh no, that card's nuts in these builds. So yeah, it's a little spooky.
Guys,
we have the final standings in.
We did it, boys. We stalled good enough. I mean, we've set it up for this top 32 layout. All
right, so I have the file in front of me, and I think Cam's gonna hook us up with one on stream here, so that you guys can see. There we go. So Tori Kelly, congratulations, going 7-0, the only 7-0 of the day. That's a feat. That's a feat. Anytime you do that, feels good. And same, Hunter Nance.
Yeah, Hunter Nance in second place here. We have Mohammad, who was on stream before, going 6-1 in third seed. A couple stream people we've seen, like John Ramsey, Patrick Panattoni, Justin Jacoby from the Michigan area. We have Sam Prime.
Interesting. Congrats to Mohammad and Sam Prime. That's there. This second Sam Prime will Cup sequence. Sam Prime did the Florida event as so back top Mr. Prime.
Yes, and I see Thomas Sherard, good old Sam Tool, definitely. G Thao, we've seen him on 3 and 4. John Rivera, Tim Trim, Steve Sause, my boys from Ohio, they did it. Noah Miller, we saw him on stream too.
You getting a little nervous for Kelly? Are you getting a little Kelly? We watched up that. And now we're starting to get to the end of the 5s. We're going to start the 4-3s creep in as we go from 15th, Connor, Brian at 16th, Brian Girardi, Brendan Tawa.
Legendary Brendan Tawa.
That guy. Love that guy. I had so much fun chatting with Brendan in Florida.
Love me some Brendan Tawa. I also see Lyle Bryant, Jesse Barnett, Daniel Gilias, Kyle Donovan, the legendary Square Enix worker Matthew Rice in top 32.
the biggest unofficial Square Enix employee ever.
And we're seeing some of the names that are also in there. Curtis DiGiulio.
Oh no. 32. There it is. We got a couple 4 and 3s sneaking in. Ryan Chen, Tyler Ray, DeShawn Knight, we saw on stream, sneaks in at 4-3. Aaron Weissman, Jake Lee, Gabe, and Christina made it.
Yeah,
Christina, we saw earlier.
Go.
Let's go. A deck out on stream, turning it around and sneaking in that top 32. How can we scroll down a little bit and just see how close Kelly was, seeing as that was the final match there? Oh, 37th. Oh
man,
so close. 5 spots out. Kelly and I now both share the distinction of being 5 spots out of a top.
The Bubble Boys.
Yeah, literally, we were both exactly 5 spots out. So that literally the match we showed you to finish things up was do or die. And unfortunately, Kelly just did not in what was needed for him. Tyro on turn the last combination you wanted.
Ooh.
It's been that right?
Yeah, or lose.
No.
But I'm still here, guys. We're all still, and we've seen such a big level of play, different, a lot of different decks, and there's a lot more coming out tomorrow. We're gonna have tops 32, lots of exciting back and forth best of 3 action. And just overall, we're gonna see a lot of really good games. He's back. He made it. He did it. He came back from the Matrix. Neo is here.
Yeah, again, we're getting here all day, so I'm surprised the only time that I kind of a little bit. Hey, it's been fun, my friend. It's been fun.
I've had so much fun. I've been really enjoying our banter together, and you're gonna have more of that tomorrow. Same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's 10 a.m. Central Time. For more top 32 action. Thank you for everybody who watched the channel. Thanks for everybody who was able to stick by with all of us with our banter and love. I'm Gabe Cavalieri, ADD, on the Draw Games.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me at RC Radio or head to ReadyCheckRadio.com. Huge shout out to Collector's Cash.
Shout out to Collector's Cash. Thank you.
Tremendous event. Hope you have a wonderful evening.
We love you guys.